Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special show for you today, and how we're going to confirm some of the facts of this show and the show notes that I have prepared over the last 2 days is we're going to concur my show notes with what Jesus knows to be true. And as you can see, Jesus is properly dressed for the current situation that we're all in. But for this show, Jesus is going to eliminate germs altogether, and he's going to make a special guest appearance on my machine, aka Mike's World. And what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss some of the things and events that have been occurring over the past few days in regards to the Warren Hunt situation. We're going to talk about Warren Hunt's background. We're going to talk about his honor and how it has been slandered and maligned. We're going to talk about some possible, and I say possible, threats, certainly innuendos of threats. Am I right so far, Jesus? You're right. Jesus concurs. So, can I put you down, Jesus? Put me down, Michael Fazio. I'll let you know when I have something to say. Jesus, sound like Rabbi Jew Barker, he said. I hear. That's right to Jesus. Rabbi Jew Barker is going to make a special guest appearance today as well. In addition to all of the innuendos and threats and possible slander and maligning of people, we're going to name names and we're going to give factoids in regards to what's going on in today's world. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a show. There will be, I will tell you that behind me, over here, right here in this bucket, there is water. There will be water dumps for the right amount of love shown to the show and to the community. There will be water dumps of bucket loads of water dumps. So Jesus, I'm going to put you down. Put me down, Rabbi Chewbacca. Okay, Jesus. So one of the things I have to do right away is I have to get to my show notes, which I have right here in front of me, fortunately. So the title of the show has been changed. However, I will give you the title of the show, and at some point in the very near future, I will give you what the show was going to be called, but that's going to have to be an upcoming show, even though both titles, plus some failed Jedi mind tricks and possible threats to stop and or intimidate bloggers. And in my opinion, this is so that one person can dominate what is called the YouTube Philippines vlogging or bloggers community. I gotta tell you, it's going to be a good show. I hope everybody enjoys the show. So what I want to make note of first, we're going to give you the definition of the word threat. And that is, I gotta tell you, it's pretty much close to the truth of what's going on in the YouTube community. So first of all, a threat is a statement of intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. So let's get that right up on the show itself as the definition of threats, because we're going to we have too many characters here. We have a lot of characters on YouTube, and we're going to be talking about some of those characters shortly, either done or not. Okay, so yeah, okay, I got it. So we're going to copy this. We're back down to 171 characters. I'm going to post it 3 times because it's going to be an integral part of the show. Because what you have witnessed on YouTube and in the past and even currently are in fact implied threats, insinuated threats, and possibly even actual threats. Now, I could name them, and I have them noted in my show notes, but I'm going to hold off till I get to that part of the show notes. I want to tell you that today's show notes are about 11 pages, and I've worked these show notes out in some sort of an order so that you will have an idea. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, well, I should tell you the Chris Hassett story. I have a really cool story to tell you about my first client, Chris Hassett. But let me get to the notes. Got to go back to the notes. I keep getting off track. Let's see. We have an actual possible insinuated implied threat where if someone's toes have been stepped on, that person is going to, in an implied threat, of course, this is a possible threat, is going to crush and smash the other person's toes. However, in addition to saying that the other person's toes will be smashed, they will hover over the person and then say, "How do you like me now?" or something to that effect. That's an implied threat and duly noted by the authorities. So then the first show note that I actually had was live stream Thursday, 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Philippines time, Warren Hunt update, whereas Warren Hunt will discuss legal cybercrimes with Scotland Yard, Australia Cybercrimes Unit, Sutherland Police Department, Interpol, and these discussions will be shared with the Philippines cybercrimes with the intent / enhance Philippines cybercrimes laws. Plus, some international might be shared by Warren Hunt himself today. So I did not put every one of those words in this because this is just one of several possible show notes. So with the intent to work with, and I'm going to put / enhance. Spelled it wrong. Let's see how we have to spell that. Enhance. Oh, I just forgot that. Okay, so let me see if this will fit into the page. No, it's 300 characters. So I'm going to have to cut this down. Put it down at the word enhance. So here we go. This is real now. I want you to understand. This is not implied. This is not possible. This is real. Warren Hunt is working with the authorities right now as we speak, as I speak, as you listen, to work with and in conjunction with several different agencies to make them aware of what's going on in regards to Warren Hunt being possibly slandered, possibly maligned, and possibly threatened. So these are, let me get back to this page. This is real now. I want you to understand this is very real. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to the show notes. Okay, so the original title of the show was going to be Legitimate Scam Earns $3,500, but not enough for me to fly to China to pick it up. I made a mistake. Legitimate Scam Earns $3,000. Yep, I did it again. Legitimate Scam earns $3,500, but not enough for me to fly to China to pick up the new supercomputer. For computer. Super. computer. Now, I want to tell you what a legitimate scam is. If you earn money the old-fashioned way, like I do, by putting on a show, you should understand it's okay to run a legitimate scam. If you make note that the legitimate scam is in play and someone else doesn't have the ability to get the joke, well, then I got to tell you, it's not my fault. I'm telling you right up front that if you super chat me money today, all I'm going to give you back in return is when I reach my goal of 12,000 $1 super chats. Reach that goal, I'm going to go to China to pick up the supercomputer, which would save me 10 weeks of wait time to get the computer to Bohol. And what I'm going to do when I get to China itself is I'm going to buy the computer, and then I'm going to go to the Great Wall of China. Sit on top of the Great Wall of China and take a couple of selfies. And what you're going to get for your $1 super chats are digital photos of me, Michael Fazio, Wall of China. Now, you can either participate in this great adventure or you can sit back and watch. It's up to you. But that's my goal. 12,000 individual $1 super chats. However, first we'll talk about who Warren Hunt is. For those of you who don't know who Warren Hunt is, I will tell you he is a decorated police officer in the Australian Police Department of 19 years. In that period of time that Warren Hunt was employed by the Australian Police Department, there was never an action taken against Warren Hunt for any possible criminal activities or bribes or anything like that. There is zero actions against Warren Hunt. And during that time of 19 years, Warren Hunt spent 12 years of that part of his life and or job description as a motorcycle police officer, which ended when Warren was in an accident on his police motorcycle and certain parts of his back and vertebrae were crushed to the point where it took Warren several months to recuperate. So there is that about Warren Hunt. But there is something even more important about Warren Hunt. Warren Hunt has been following my channel for upwards of 10 years, or thereabouts. And over the years, he's watched my videos and watched my blogs change from my construction videos when I lived in a house in the Florida Keys, which, by the way, is relatively easy to prove. Just look up Michael Fazio, 31 North Channel Drive, Key Largo, Florida, and you will see that my name was on the deed by itself, and that at one point, the value of the house was about $1.2 to $1.3 million, which during the financial crisis, which had nothing to do with myself and all to do with the financial powers that be to destroy the United States economy, work ceased to exist. At which point, I called up the insurance company and the mortgage company and told them, you can have the house back. I'm moving to the Philippines, baby. They had no problem with that. So the reason I bring that up is because, and this is documented, that it has been maligned and or slander, whatever you choose to call it, a known fact that I have been maligned and or slandered, possibly stating that I have defaulted on monetary fiduciary responsibilities, and I am running from the law in the United States, even to the point where I was threatened that I could not leave the Philippines back in December of 2018, and if I did leave the Philippines to go retrieve some of my personal goods, I would not be allowed back in. At which point, it became necessary to take legal action. So that is the reason, if you hear stories about legal actions taking place, it was because I was threatened to not be able to leave the Philippines or return to the Philippines with my personal goods, which would have been a complication, because if the goods came to the Philippines, they would be sitting on the ground accruing is the proper word, fines or what is called ground fees for the products that I was bringing back to the Philippines of somewhere between $60 and $100 a day, which I could not have. Therefore, I was forced by YouTube harassment and implied threats to take legal action, which I did. So any stories that you hear about me being running from the law, and in addition to running from the law, I have verified several videos. I have them copied, as does Warren Hunt and the authorities, several videos stating that not only is Michael Fazio running from the law, that Michael Fazio is running from the law under an assumed name, and that name is Michael Fazic, Fazic. This video was posted publicly on YouTube, and it was, in fact, up for quite a while. And then, of course, copied, and it went to the authorities with a gaggle of other videos. I can't tell you how many videos, but at this point, the authorities have been giving somewhere between 300 to 600 plus videos, proving what I just said, of course, proving that I never came to the Philippines under an assumed name, which would, I don't know if it's possible. I've never even thought about it because my passport says my name. So it was implied that I was a criminal running from the law and owed money in America, and that I would not be able to get out of the Philippines and back into America. And if I got to America, I might be arrested for failure and or monies owed the Internal Revenue Service, which is not the case. I simply called up the mortgage company on a house that was worth $1.2 to $1.3 million, and then explained to the mortgage company that there was no work and that I would like to come into their office and sign the house back over to them. At which point they said, Mr. Fazio, don't worry about that. There's a lot of people in your situation. Hopefully the economy will clear up, and hopefully you will be able to, pay the back monies. And I said, no, I don't really want to pay the back monies. I want to give you back the house, and I want to move to the Philippines. That's my intention. And they begged me, asked me, pleaded with me to stay in the house and take care of the property, cut the grass, trim the trees, throw out the garbage, fix the water pipes, things like that. And if I did that, they'd allow me to stay in the house without any legal action. So I did, and I did that for a couple of years. And then at some point, I realized, look, this economy, that where I was working 150 days a year with my backhoe and or legal licensed excavation company, there was not going to be a comeback of the economy anytime soon. Therefore, I called up the mortgage company again and said, I want to come down and sign the house over to you people. I'm moving, and I'm going to be moving in September of 2013. That's final. At which point, they referred me to an attorney that worked with my mortgage company and said, come to my office in Miami, gave me an appointment. I sat down in the man's office. He had a one-page statement saying that I agree to leave the house in good condition, no damage. There was no damage. And that if that is the case, they're going to send an inspector, man's name was Steve, to the house, and they're going to review the property, and they are going to give you money if they feel some things need to be addressed, like trimming of the trees or cutting of the grass or fence repair. Anything that this man, Steve, decided would be necessary to do in order to make the house a viable saleable house, Steve would then compensate me with a check from the mortgage company, which they did. And I got to tell you, it was quite generous, considering the amount of time I had to spend to bring the house up to Steve's standards. It was quite a beneficial thing for them, because they would have had to pay twice or three times that for the contractor to come in. And me being a contractor, I did it myself. So any stories that you have heard that I was running from the law under an assumed name are outright blatant lies, and those stories have been duly noted with the authorities. Now, moving on. Warren Hunt, in addition to being an honorable police officer in Australia, at some point several years ago began communicating with me, and we became friends. And there was just something that we hit off on, that we both enjoyed each other's conversation. With that, a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, Warren explained to me that he had cancer, which I felt very bad about, as did most people that watched Warren Hunt's videos. But, and this is a big but, of all the people that watched Warren Hunt's videos, only one person maligned and slandered his story about having cancer. And as time progressed, Warren explained that he had what was called terminal cancer. However, I maintained a positive friendship with Warren and explained to him that there's always a chance to beat even terminal cancer. And my friend Tommy, who was my friend since I was 25 years old, had terminal cancer, and he beat it, even though he had the same 5% chance of beating the cancer that Warren was given. He beat cancer, and he was my friend from the year 1975 or 76 up until 2003, when I made a video saying I had to go into the hospital for a hernia operation, an umbilical hernia operation. I made a video, and Tommy watched the video, and after I put the video on YouTube, I got a phone call from my friend Tommy, and he said, "I'm on my way. Give me directions to your house, because it would be great difficult, or I would have great difficulty to get out of bed to even get to the bathroom or medication." So I gave him directions, and the following day I went in for my operation, and the next day the ambulance brought me back, put me into my bed, and I left the door open for Tommy, and Tommy came to my house in 2003. So what is that? That's almost 30 years of solid friendship. And he took care of me for about 10 days, and then he left Florida. And unfortunately, we lost track of one another after that. Not right after that, but several months after that. I think Tommy had a relapse, and he got very depressed and started drinking, and no longer did anybody know where he was, even his family. So wherever he went, and it may have been back to Arizona because he was part Native American Indian, pretty much no one knew where he went, but he just basically left, and even his children didn't know where he was. But digressing back to Warren Hunt had a 5% beat cancer, and the only individual on YouTube that harassed, slandered, and possibly maligned, or all three of those, is a certain blogger. And we're going to get into that blogger in a few minutes. And some of the things that were said about Warren were that He did not have cancer. Did not have cancer. Why would Warren lie about something like that? Another thing that was said and stated on YouTube is that he's only telling people that he has cancer to garnish sympathy from other people. That wasn't true. That is certainly a maligning of Warren's character, and it's been duly noted with the authorities. So I'll show you the show notes. In another video, it was stated and duly noted that he had both nuts cut off, and that was followed by laughter. Okay, so the truth is that before Warren's lung cancer and other cancerous tumors were addressed, the truth is that Warren, I got trouble here. Warren had one testicular cancerous testicle removed, not both. But either way, why would you follow up with such a slanderous and maligning statement with laughter? And multiple videos of laughing Warren saying that he had both nuts cut off and he would never be able to have sex, ha, 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 and actually laughing at Warren's demise. And I think, in my opinion, this was done because he believed, and so did many other people believe, that Warren would not be recuperating from his cancer. So he could have what is called free will to say anything he wanted. When I, on the other hand, and all of Warren's friends, all of the people on my channel, and hundreds of other people, police officers, musicians that Warren worked with in the past, they were all rooting for Warren. Only one person in this known universe slandered and maligned and lied about Warren not having cancer. Not only that, but then laughed about it. All of those videos are part of the 300 to 600 videos given to the authorities. Again, it was stated that Warren had some other illness and was trying to garner sympathy from his viewers. How do you come up with this? How do you I hear stories as early as only just hours ago of how I did things that I have video proof to attest that were not done, and yet it was implied, it was stated, it was factual in their mind that I did certain things that were criminal. In and of itself, that might be considered criminal. So let me get to I'm going to go back to my, Princess Anne is in the house, baby. Yeah, Princess, welcome to Mike's World. And thank you for coming. Good morning, Princess Anne. Oh, we have the wordsmith. Wordsmithing is something that I coined, but I didn't coin the word wordsmithing. There are many people like Walt Whitman, Plato, Socrates, they were wordsmiths. But in today's society, I have a personal friend and confidant named none other than Scott Del Fuego, who is, in fact, a wordsmith and does have a complete control of the English language. And typically, he does not even make so much as a single spelling error during the process of his wordsmithing. Welcome to Scott Del Fuego. I don't know whether to dump water on my head or read the comments. So I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to read the wordsmithing by Scott Del Fuego. And before I do, I want to tell anybody out there that's watching, including the authorities, that Scott Del Fuego is one of the smartest people that I've ever had the pleasure to know. So here we go. Scott Del Fuego's first comment. Different people react differently to circumstances, period. As the famous Mexican revolutionary Emilio Zapata stated, I would rather die upon my feet than live upon my knees. I remember that statement. I had no idea where it came from. Thank you. Michael Fazio will not be cowed by threat or bluster. He is a man that has survived the mean streets of the 70s and 80s of Howard Beach with no tribute paid, no surrender made, the obstruction of justice, and witness tampering. So I have to tell you, at some point in my life, what Scott just said, I'll give you a little story. At some point in my life, I had a business, always had a business. So at some point in my life, I set up an office across the street from the Howard Beach train station. And people came into my office and demanded what they called, I don't know, window money or something like that. They called it all different kinds of things, but it was window insurance at the time. They left. They left. They had to leave. We'll leave it at that. So they were extorting everybody on the block for $40 for garbage removal. And I told them I don't have any garbage. I'm a contractor. I bring my garbage to the job site. And the office wasn't even finished at the time. So the only thing was it was a warehouse, but any garbage I had fit in less than a garbage pail a month. And I told them, no, you got to leave, and they eventually left. And then I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the owner of the garbage or sanitation company. His name was Joe. I get a phone call from Joe, whose daughters I was friends with since the age of about 7, whose birthday parties I attended, whose 4th of July parties I attended. And Joe said to me, what did you do? I said, Joe, I didn't know they worked for you. And he said, well, Mike, you could have just called me up. I would have told them to leave you alone. I said, well, Joe, I had no idea. They just came in demanding money. It's not my problem. So we'll leave it at that. But I never had to give those people money. And in fact, at that point, for that office, for that particular circumstances, I never heard from those people again. So it was one of the biggest garbage companies in New York City. So bending to the wishes or the ill wishes of certain people, that's just not going to happen. And that leads me into another topic I'm going to discuss: JEDI mind tricks to stop bloggers from blogging on YouTube. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So let's move on. An out of control so no surrender made. The obstruction of justice. The obstruction of justice and witness tampering of an old, out of control, mentally erratic, and violence implying blogger will never stop him from seeking justice. I know what Michael would say. You know where I am. I'm not hiding. He will receive justice. So what Scott is talking about is that I have been threatened physically by people coming to my house, duly noted by the authorities, multiple authorities at this point. And someone was going to bring a certain amount of friends with them to my house and straighten me out. Straighten me out, baby. Ain't going to happen. I have been threatened with jail by implying that somehow down the line I'm going to end up in jail for 12 years. Probably not going to happen. In fact, well, I won't give you the opposite side of the coin on that one just yet. We're going to let Warren Hunt. Inside my house, I have what is known as a flying, what is called a spider wasp. It's about 1.25 inches. And he flies around at this time of the morning. I'm going to open the door so he can get out. And he goes right next to my ear on both sides. And what he's doing is he's looking for spiders. Now, I could tell him where there is a spider, but I won't do that because he doesn't listen to me. But every day, exactly the same time in the morning. I've shown this to Warren. So let me open up the door and let him out, because he really wants to go out as much as I want him to go out, because sometimes he lands in my ear. So just give me a moment. Yeah, I'm going to open the door up. I like spider wasps. I actually like to watch them work. So let's get that. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. He was waiting for the door to open up. I have a trained spider wasp. As soon as I opened up that door, he saw me going for the door. I don't know. Every day he comes in, and every day I let him out, and every day as soon as I open the door, he leaves. He's gone. Imagine that. We have trained spider wasps. Who's better than me, baby? So let's get on with the show. We're going to talk a little bit more about Warren, and then we're going to talk about legalities, and we're going to talk about enhancing, possibly enhancing the Philippines cybercrimes laws with the use of international agencies. Jack Thompson is in the house. Oh my God. Oh, we have what is known as Super Chat. Now, today is the first day of my need, want, desire, and or requests for 12,000 individual $1 Super Chats. Now, everybody knew that I'm going to be asking for 12,000 $1 Super Chats. And at some point, I made it clear as day that I might block you if you send me more than $1. However, I'm feeling the love today, and I'm not going to block you if you send more than $1. But this might be the only day I relinquish that option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what can happen for the right amount of money. Now that was, oh, I see another Super Chat. Oh, I see another one. So we have Jack Thompson. Is this the day or is it tomorrow? Today is the day, Jack Thompson. Today is the day. if you had ever sent me now, you may have gotten the notice, but we forgive you. But let me show you what is possible, what will be possible. In this room right now, I have several buckets of water. Depending on what I'm going to call the love shared on my channel, I will dump a certain amount of water on my head. Now, that would be considered a legal and viable way to earn money on YouTube. Like when you used to throw the ball at the guy, and when you hit the target, the guy fell into the bucket of water. Well, we don't have a tank that I could fall into, but we do have a tank of water. So for $1.99, we're going to give Jack Thompson $1.99's worth of water, and then we're going to get back to my show notes right after I discuss the Warren Hunt Super Chat for $1.43. Now, I got to tell you, this is going to be a good show. So let's give Jack, we'll give him $1.99's worth of water. Okay? So for Jack, we put the fedora on, and you know if the fedora is on. When you see the fedora, you have to understand there is a legitimate scam in progress. So here is $1.99's worth of legitimate scam. So let's turn this around so that the sun hits it just right. And I know what you guys are thinking. I know what you're thinking. So here, only $1.99 because we got a lot of water and we got a lot of stuff. Oh, see, there's not a lot of water in there. Baby, look at that. Look at the fedora. It's turning colors. It's flushing. That's $1.99 worth of super chat. That's $1.99. Now, Warren, I see rainbows. Oh God! Oh my God! Jesus, come on over here. What do you think, Jesus? They love you, Michael Fazio. They love the show. The show must go on. Woo, baby. I don't know. I have to do this one at a time. Now for Warren, because Warren is today's topic. Oh my God! Look at this. For Warren is today's topic. Let me put my hair back over here so that when the water hits the hair, it changes the whole outline of the hairline. Warren super chat of $1.43. This is another $1.43's worth of super chat. And there we go. Now I know what you're thinking. That was $1.43's worth of super chat. But what you didn't know is that Warren wants more. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to take one, and we're going to just take this one, and we're going to finish this up. This is part of $1.43, and we're going to get into Warren's next super chat of $20. Now for $20, there will be a flow. So what we got to do is we got to reach down deep, right here, baby. We got to reach down deep, and we have to pick up the black pot. Because black pots matter. Oh my God. And we're going to give Warren a $20 dose of water because Warren is the key topic of today's show. We're going to try to get back to today's show, but it doesn't look good. So here is a bucket of water, and I know what you're thinking. I'm going to, that was $20 worth of super chat, baby. I know what you're thinking. What you're thinking is that where the hell is all that water going? Don't worry, I got it covered. Hold on a minute. Let me give you the skinny on this. First of all, you have to understand that a real man owns tools. And in today's show, I'm going to show you how I fixed the water on the floor puddle problem. So the first thing I will show you are the tools used to fix the problem itself. So what I used was I have an 18-volt Milwaukee electric drill. That by itself doesn't do much. But when you add to that, for the $1.99 super chats, when you add to that a Milwaukee hole creator. This thing creates holes in sheetrock or plywood. When you put that in here like this, what you have is an immediate drain in the floor. Of course, you have to put screens in it to keep the mosquitoes out later on, but for now, this eliminates the puddles. Now, for the big jobs, for those $100 super chats, if that ever happens, we have the man eater. This is a Lennox hole, 3 1/4 inch hole. This bad boy will eliminate puddles on the floor from a water dump faster than any other hole saw that I have, barring the use of a chainsaw, of course. But for now, these two objects were previously used during the morning in preparation for the show, and we have holes in the floor big enough for a child's foot to fit through. I just want you to be aware that I am safe from the puddles and the buildup of water in the house. Thank you very much. So now that we have the pot is empty or half full or the pot is ready. Let's call it, let's think positive. The pot is ready to be banged. Now that we have the pot ready to be banged, we can go back to our show notes after we bang the pot. So let's bang the pot. I still have not found the spatula. Let's bang the pot because now it's empty, right? And remember, Jesus is always with us at all times. And Jesus said it is better for you to give to Michael Fazio than Michael Fazio to give to you. And that's what the premise of the next show will be, $12,001 super chats. Now, let's bang the pot a little bit. Come on. And thank you. And then I'm going to show you the rainbow, baby. Thank you very much. Salamat. You hear that? It feels like I'm inside a Buddhist temple. But I have to get back. I want everybody to hold off. I'm gonna address every single super chat because today is your day. Today is the day that I'm allowing you people to give me money so that I can collect the money through YouTube AdSense and super chats, and then put those noted monies into my scheduled receipt book, and then report those monies to the Philippines government so that I can pay legitimate tax on those monies. So basically what I'm going to do today and for the next several days is allow you to help the Philippines government income tax division earn money through YouTube and super chats. So this is a process that I'm going to supply for the Philippines government from now on. I want the Philippines government to honor my subscribers and my super chats, and I want to let you know that as a good citizen of the Philippines, I'm allowing you to donate money to the Philippines government via the Bureau of Internal Revenue Service. So the Bureau of Internal Revenue Service says salamat, and that also makes the money and them very happy. These are happy people in the Bureau of Internal Revenue Service. And for those of you who don't have your Internal Revenue Service papers in order, just rest assured, somebody will make note of it somewhere in the near distant future. All right, let's go back. Thank you. Let's show the rainbow. Let's see. Let me share the love. I want to share the love right now. Put the fedora back on because we just talked about super chat, and then we'll get to the comments, and then we're going to go back to my notes. Oh my God, where do they stop? Holy macaronis! My goodness. Let's see. We have Jack Thompson at $1.99. Salamat. Warren at $1.43. Salamat. Warren at $20. Drip, drip, drip. Jack wants to know, is this the day or is it tomorrow? Today is the day, baby. Scott Lofrego hits me with the proper amount. He won't be penalized. There won't be any kind of regression in reading Scott Lofrego's super chat or commentaries. Then we go on and on. Another Scott, $1. Warren comes in with $1. Scott Lofrego, another $1. Jack Thompson breaking the rules. Jack is all jacked up and his super chat finger is broke, apparently, or he just didn't get the memo. Michael, how do you control the flood of water on the floor? Hole sores, baby, hole sores. Scott Lofrego with a 99. Salamat. How did I end up as the key topic? I've been good, honest. That's right. Warren has never told a lie. Fire away, Jack Thompson. His finger apparently seems to be broken. And unfortunately, Jack Thompson, for the $1.99 super chats, we might have to subjugate Jack Thompson to some of the possible rules and regulations that will be enhanced during the course of the week once I see how many people are breaking the rules, which is completely different than breaking the law. I will make a determination on whether or not to block people that can't get it into their heads to super chat. It's $1. It's $12,001 chats, which I will tell you what that will enable me to do and what you'll get for it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be giving you a whole lot more for your $1 super chats than Steve Montelli. Because that guy, he has assured everybody that you give me money, Steve Montelli, you give me money, I give you nothing. That's the way it works on Steve's show. It's almost like an enhanced Fazio methodology. So let's get to the comments, and then we're going to go back to my notes. Because what we have are show notes on some of the most egregious videos and things said on YouTube, social media, ever. And all provable. Warren says, can Michael get any weather? LOL. I can, and I will. Free of charge. Libre. No charge. No pesos. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. I got a bucket of water behind me ready to go, but not just yet. Warren H. flashes back to the school days. Mr. Hunt, you will be the topic of this discussion. That's probably true. Can you remember? Remember when you sat in the corner with the dunce hat on, Warren? Oh, my God. By the way, Jack Thompson, hello, and Scott Del Fuego. Hey, Warren, and hello, Scott. Scott Del Fuego. Hello, Warren, and hello, Jack Thompson. Watching the Christmas tree RPMs are going up and getting ready to launch this dragster. The Christmas tree would be a reference National Speedway racetrack or any kind of NASCAR racing where they have multiple lights that they, it starts off with whatever color and works its way down to green, and then someone waves the flag. That's the reference to the Christmas tree. Warren, thank you very much. More super chat. And Graham is in the house. Oh, we have people coming from every direction today. Warren says, Scott Del Fuego, my teachers were nuns and priests, so they just beat the crap out of us rather than talk about us. I do remember putting my hands on the table for the nuns in religious instructions and having them smack my knuckles. At which point, I got up, walked out, and never went back. Enough of that. Even when I couldn't have been more than, we had religious instructions in the 5th and 6th grades. And the school was 1 block away, the Catholic school. And at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, we had to go to the church and do like 2 hours of religious instruction. I think it was 1 o'clock. It was right after lunch. The teachers would walk us over to the school, and they would give us religious instructions. And if you were out of line or out of control or talked in the classroom, they would tell you, put your hands on the table. And they would take the ruler, an old wooden ruler, and smack your hands with it. I never liked that. But they did that back then. In today's world, the teacher would get arrested, of course. But let me get, if it's even possible to get through this super chat, we're going to talk about international law, and we're going to talk about the Australian Cybercrimes Division. We're going to talk about the Sutherland Police Department. We're going to talk about Scotland Yard. We're going to talk about Interpol, and we're going to talk about Philippines Cybercrimes Division. Warren will be able to update you on that, and if he doesn't, I'm going to have to do that in another show. But I will tell you that right now, Warren is in the process of discussing the contents of 300 plus videos specifically aimed at Warren Hunt, his cancer, making fun of him, making fun of his testicular cancer, and making fun of Warren that he had both nuts cut off, and then laughter following in the video, which is used to show poor character at a minimum. But that's not the only thing being discussed in the cybercrimes division. They have what is known as, it's a video, one of their favorite videos. This is a true story. One of the favorite videos of certain cybercrimes divisions, worldwide and renowned now at this point, is a video called The GAC. The GAC. The GAC is going to be used, from my understanding, if it's true, and I do believe it's true, the GAC video is going to be used as a character reference. I'll leave it at that until Warren confirms it, but it also goes under the heading of a different name, which the Cybercrimes Unit has given the GAC video and many others. They have a file that they file these videos in. And if you don't remember what the GAC video is, I'm going to ask Warren if I can have permission to state the contents of the GAC video. I will also ask Warren if I have permission to do several other things, because this show is about my friend Warren. And at this point, you should understand that Warren and I are partners. So if you don't understand what it means to be someone's partner, well, you will soon. That's one thing I can assure you. So let's go. Scott Del Fuego. Warren says, Scott Del Fuego, my teachers were nuns and priests, so they just beat the crap out of rather than talk crap about us. Graham, don't forget YouTube's cut. They are real winners. I imagine Google needs the funds, not. Well, you know, Graham, in business, in order for me to get my, I have heard stories that I was never a licensed contractor. I can prove I was. I even probably have the paperwork with me in the Philippines. But it doesn't matter. It's all of legal record. So before you can get even a small license to do landscaping, there are books that you purchase. And in order to get that license, it's a two-part license. One, you have the practical part of the license where someone says that you have worked with or for their landscaping company for a period of 3 years. That's the easy part. The hard part is the business aspect of having a license, having the privilege of having a license. So in Monroe County, because this is my most recent licensing that I've had in as far as landscaping and excavation, you have to go to school for a couple of hours. And in that school, they tell you what's needed to pass the written part of your license, which is the business part. And they have what is called business, how to conduct, and the proper way to conduct business. And one of the things that you're going to learn in that school is that you have to be able to do percentages backwards and forwards, figure out time schedules, and you also have to know how to file taxes. So taxes are what is known as cost of doing business. So there's nothing wrong with the Philippines government or Google collecting taxes on earned income. You should understand that. Now, I've even heard stories where I was a tax evader. Those stories are now in the hands of the authorities as well, in addition to some 350 other videos that Warren has given the authorities. I'm telling you, this thing is growing by the day. There will be what is known as legal venues that will be taken against and or with and in conjunction with Warren Hunt's goals. We'll just call them goals because right now they're goals, but they are in fact in the process of being made a reality. Gotta tell you, the stuff is about to hit the fan. Warren will be able to tell you more about that. Today's live stream is about Warren, so we'll let Warren give you some of that information. Oh, another $2 super chat, baby. Let's give him $2 worth. Give Warren $2 worth. Where is my next bucket of water? I have a $2 bucket right here. Right here. I have a $2 bucket. Let's give him $2 worth. And being that this show is about Warren, not only will we give him $2 worth, but we'll also cool my jets a little bit. Oh, baby. Oh, you notice what happened? Notice what happened? Did you notice what happened? Did you notice my hair came forward? I look like Paul McCartney, right? From the Beatles. But watch what happens when I put it back. Look at this. Look at this. You can see on the side right here, you can see the gray and the black, even at the age of 64. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. But also, what you may have noticed is that my hairline is receding slightly since the time I was in high school. It's back damn near a quarter of an inch. You can see that. If I go like this, you can see that. Okay? Now I could show you other pictures, but you can see a lot of the hairline. It's back. I'm gonna get closer so you could see better. Can you see that? You can see the receding hairline and the black and the gray. I gotta tell you, my dad was 75. He still had black hair and gray. Salt and pepper at 75, baby. So I'm looking forward to finding out if that will be the case. So we have a $2 super chat that's taken care of, and we're gonna bang this pot. Let me tell you the story behind the pot. The pot has made me somewhere in the vicinity in the last 18 months, approximately $10,000 US. So we'll bang the pot. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Money. 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 $10,000. Could you imagine somebody making $10,000 because they banged the pot? That's different. That's banging a pot. I want you to understand. Another tool. Look, this. You can use these to take the hair out of your nose. You just take these little needle nose pliers, which works much better than tweezers. Take those needle nose pliers, you insert them into your nostrils. However much pain you want to gain, you take it'll grab 8 or 10 nose hairs at a time. You want to talk about tears. Freaking crocodile tears got nothing on removing nose hairs with a pair of small needle nose pliers. I could show you, but I won't. But I'm going to tell you something. That's the best way. The quickest way is to get the nose hairs out. Small pair of needle nose pliers with a good grip on it. Put them in there. It works. You could take them out of your ears. You'd be surprised. You don't feel them so much in your ears, but these needle nose pliers, they got like laser sights on them. They have some sort of intuitive ability to grab those hairs, when it pulls them out, it's not like a tweezer with your hands going like this. Not like that at all. These do the job. This gets the job done, as Chris and Sabu would say. Gets the job done. So let's talk about Warren Hunt a little bit. Graham, we covered cost of doing business. Thank you for putting that in the equation, because I got to tell you, cost of doing business, insurance, garbage removal, taxes for your house, taxes for your business, taxes for your licensing, taxes for the fuel for your machines. On any given day, sometimes I put $400 worth of fuel in my machines. And out of that, 300 went to the United States government for taxes, which of course went to some probably worthless cause, but there's no way to keep track. But either way, as a United States citizen, you have to pay taxes. And now that the Philippines has finally seen the light and starting to make people pay a small percentage on their earned income, hopefully that will help the Philippines government subsidize some of the losses due to this lockdown. Because I got to tell you, I don't like to talk too much about the economic crisis here in the Philippines, but it seems to get, it doesn't seem to be getting better. And I will tell you that every small amount of money from the bloggers in regards to taxes helps the Philippines government to some small degree. It's one of their few sources of income at this point. Shipping has been reduced to almost nothing. Commerce, let's talk about another lie that has been perpetrated on YouTube. So I collected $3,500 for a computer. Everybody knows this, I admit it. But I can't buy the computer because the store has no computers and no ability to buy a computer. But it has been perpetrated and lies, and I have been slandered and maligned. That's a fact in regards to me stealing people's monies. Well, when the time comes, I will show you that money is in the bank, or the authorities that money is in the bank. But the truth of the matter is, even in Jollibee's wins the #1 slot video on my uploads, I showed you the computer store and the manager of the computer store and the security guard of this computer store, showing you that, in fact, the entire frontal display of the store with three individual computer racks is empty. The rack behind that is empty. The 18 slots behind the glass that used to hold Acer computers, and Dell computers, and Lenovo computers, it's all empty. There was one box in the display, and possibly it looks like one computer in a single display. So of the 18 slots for computers to be in the window display, there was one box and one computer, and of the front line with the metal brackets that hold down and secure the computers, those were empty for 3 rows back. So what was once tables with computers on them, they removed the tables and they put pamphlets and paraphernalia on the tables. Also, I will tell you that there are no inexpensive drives or external hard drives. They're gone. There's no more. There hasn't been a shipment since early May. So when you look at the video and see that there are no computers in any of the displays, save one and one box, you will know for a fact that I told you the truth, that there is no ability to get a computer. And I even asked the manager of the store, where you'll hear me say, "Grace, any luck?" And Grace will say, "No, sir," because there is no ability to get computer. Don, the security officer, says no stock. And we laughed because we know there's no stock. So when I hear stories about how I stole other people's money, I laugh, but I just want you to understand that these stories are duly noted, and they are individually and group given to the authorities for using as character assessments and evaluations. You and I are being assessed in regards to our character and whether or not we tell the truth. Now, when it was said that I came to the Philippines under an assumed name, aka Michael Fazic, Fazic, and I was running from the law, well, that might be considered slander, it might be considered the maligning of character, and it might be criminal. That will be determined in a court of law. I won't make judgment on that, but I will tell you, even something as what you believe is so insignificant about crushing people's toes and standing over them and saying, how do you like me now? Or how does it feel? Even what you believe to be an insignificant, certainly implied threat, absolutely innuendo of threat. What you might consider perfectly normal, other people do not. They don't think like you. In fact, you might be the only person in this world that thinks like you. And you may not be right, but we are going to find out. And we're going to find out in so many ways. Let me get back to my show notes. And I hope I'm going to get to my show notes again. I'll go sit bin back with Jack. I'll go in the sin bin with Jack. That's right, Warren. I am sure that Jack and Warren and I, and probably Scott Del Fuego, has been in the sin bin. So Jack says, Warren hates. Ha 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 ha. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a show coming up. I have 9 more pages, 9 out of 11 pages of show notes that I haven't gone over. And we are going to discuss the names and the titles of some videos that are now being reviewed by the authorities in 2 different countries, by 5 different international and local authorities, including, let me give you the names of the authorities that are reviewing these videos. Number 1 and foremost, we thank the Sutherland Police Department of Australia for hosting Warren Hunt for a total of this week and last week. As of last night, Warren has logged 111 hours in the last 9 business days working inside and with the Sutherland Police. Some of those hours were spent within the presence of the Australian Cybercrimes Division, at which point those people are processing the information that Warren has given them. And what they're going to do with that information is they're going to review it and make a determination as to where it should go. And the possibilities of where that information will go are as follows. Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard is going to be watching Michael Fazio's videos and Warren Hunt's videos and certain other vloggers' videos. In addition, the Australian Cybercrimes Unit may or might be or possibly be sending Warren Hunt's additions to the video catalog, which I'm going to give you the name of the video catalog for a certain blogger and YouTube genre. The name of the file, as close as I can give you the name of the file without actually giving you the name of the file, that is being passed onto Scotland Yard and Interpol, and may very well be going to the Philippine Cybercrimes Division. I'll give you a name of the file, and I will just make a reference to, it's not the actual name, but it can be, it could be, it might have been the name had they not chosen another name. They call them cringe videos. That's CRINGE, cringe videos. And it has a very specific notation on the file. Do not watch for more than 5 minutes in any one session, or possible brain damage can occur. That's pretty much the way these videos are being passed out to the authorities. The videos are in a file folder, even though it's electronic. with a warning on the file folder not to watch these videos for more than 5 minutes because it might cause brain damage. However, they have another file, the Michael Fazio file, and they love it. Right, Jesus? That's right, Michael. Come on over here, Jesus. Come on. Jesus. Do they laugh? They laugh at you, Fazio. They love Mike's World. They love Rabbi Drew Barker. They love it, baby. They don't see anything wrong with it. They get the joke, as Jack Thompson would say. They get jacked up on Michael Fazio's videos, baby. Right, Jesus? That's right, Michael Fazio. Salamat. Thank you for being who you are. Yeah, Jesus, you're too kind. Go sit down. Put me down, Michael Fazio. Put you down, Jesus. Jesus loves me. And so do the authorities, by the way. So when they see videos of lies, half-truths, and deceits, they are, in fact, in amazement, especially when Warren has the faculty and the ability to give them absolute proof that exactly what is said, the opposite, is true in those cringe videos. And that's why they depicted them as cringe videos, but not specifically cringe videos. They are cringeable. Most people can only watch them for a few minutes. I have subscribers all over the world that said, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? What is wrong? Nobody understands exactly what is wrong, except, of course, Sam. Sam knows. But we won't get into what Sam knows. But Sam knows. Warren, Stato Fuego. I was at a junior high where almost all the male teachers had handmade, painted, and decorated heavy wooden paddles. I remember that. And they loved to use them. Hurt way worse than what you would think. I actually remember they were like the Kappa Beta Phi paddles, and it hurt more mentally than physically. So we were, all the people that are our friends on this channel, by the way, most of the people that are participating in my channel and have been my long-term friends are either psychologists, law enforcement, ranging from police officers to detectives and more, and or what is known as profilers for the police department or police departments where they live. That's a fact, Jack. So Jack and I are the only two contractors, but most of my subscriber base is either doctors, police officers, profilers for the police department that have in fact worked with the FBI and other three-letter agencies, and or regular policemen, as well as successful businessmen. And a few people, just regular homebodies with major construction skills. Someone like Dennis Adam, who's always been the owner of multiple tools and been able to create things of metal or wood and use his vast knowledge of construction to make things work and to do his own construction jobs. Most of my subscribers have hands-on ability and motor skills in the construction industry. And that's one of the reasons they like me. And I'll give you another reason that they like me is because of the videos that I send them out both privately and to the upper echelon of my Patreon page. They see, they know, they understand that when I say I've had multiple licenses, I am a licensed A&P jet mechanic. I am a licensed, or was a licensed excavation contractor, tree surgeon, and I had a license to clear land, okay, in the state of Florida. Okay, these are all real, not embellished. These are all factual licenses that I had. And I almost said, and there are people out there that can just look up Michael Fazio from the information that Warren will give them, and they will just see this stuff on my record, clear as day. was Michael Fazio, is Michael Fazio to this day, right now, today, licensed by the Federal Aviation Administration? Yes, I am, in both airframe and powerplant. Still, those are lifetime licenses. I can tell you other federal licenses that I have, but they will look that up and they will see that my federal licenses were never revoked. They may have run out of date, some of them, but they were never revoked. As opposed to some of the lies, half-truths, and slander and maligning that you've heard on YouTube. And we'll get more into that in the show notes in a moment. So, we have more super chat. Jack Thompson, Dennis Adams. Talk about Dennis Adams, and damn, he appeared. But long before I talked about him, I don't know where to go with this. So, payment for a rooster milking machine. Okay, so let's just look at the current rainbow situation. Dennis Adams. I talked about Dennis Adams, and psychically, Dennis Adams came on. So we have a rainbow going here. I see red. I see blue. I see green. I see Scott. I see Warren. I see getting jacked up. Jacked up, baby. Scott the Fuego. Let's go through the rainbow. It's a rainbow. Jack Thompson is on the screen, and so is Warren. Warren H is a drip, drip, drip. Warren H wanted to see that water flow, baby. Scott Del Fuego, multiple $1 super chat. Scott again, Warren again. Scott, we'll do it the right way. Jack. And then we'll Warren. That's 20. Drip, drip, drip. Scott. Warren, Scott, Jack, Scott, Warren, Jack, Warren, Jack, Warren, Jack, Dennis Adams. Whoa, salamat. So what we got to do now, we got to figure out a way to make everybody happy all at once. I got to think of something really stupid to do. Maybe I should drill a hole in the floor and show you the plug. But for that, I would have to... Oh, I have a problem with my camera. Hold on a second. I need to get a proper stand. What I'm working with here is good. Let's see. Shows... Okay, good. I got it. All right. Shows my face. I got the right light coming in. Ready, set, take. Here we go. Let's go through some of the comments, and then we're going to go back to the commentary. I'm not going to read. I read that comment. China syndrome payment. China syndrome is Jack's way of saying dust devil in an air-conditioned room. That's Jack Thompson's way of saying that. Jack and I know. I tried to call you this morning to get jacked up, but what I did instead is I went out and I did work. I did some physical work. Warren says, Scott the Flagger, we had custom paddles and leather straps to keep us in check. Leather straps, I don't think I was ever hit with a leather strap. I'm pretty sure I don't remember. Even in our house, I was never hit with a belt. My dad didn't need to hit us with a belt. All he really needed to do was say, Michael, come over here. And that was enough. Scare the living daylights out of it. Never hit us. Well, 3 times. And once it was probably justified. Maybe twice. And it wasn't a beating. It was just a a smack, just to let you know that he wasn't happy. My dad was a very fair man when it came to making you understand what you had done wrong. Like one time I remember Mrs. Englert, Englert. Mrs. Englert lived at, I don't want to give her address out, but Mrs. Englert is a real person. So Mrs. Englert and my mother and father, I didn't know this, were friends. So one time I knocked a pumpkin off of Mrs. Englert's stoop. And her stoop was about 17 steps high. And I knocked it down. And apparently Mrs. Englert knew who I was, but we were just out smashing pumpkins, and I was about 7 or 8 years old. I had no idea that Mrs. Englert knew who I was. I was like 7 years old. So, and there was like 12 of us that were walking down the block and knocking the jack-o'-lanterns off the stoop. So we went about our business. We were kids. We went about our business, and when I got home, I walked into the house, and Mr. and Mrs. Englert were sitting on my mother's couch, chit-chatting. Well, my father made me go back to Mrs. Englert's house and put the pumpkin back up on the steps. And then, when I got home, he made me go to my piggy bank and take out the money for the pumpkin and give it to Mrs. Englert. Might have been 30 cents, but that was my dad's way of saying, don't do that again. And probably, I don't ever remember knocking anybody's pumpkin off the steps again. Could have done it, but I don't remember. Later on, this is a true story, and this is a crazy story, but it's true. You might, if you have high authority, be able to look up Jimmy Englert, Englert. I think I'm spelling it correct. Later on, I became Mrs. Englert's paperboy of the Long Island Press for 2 years, and she was a very good tipper. I remember that. Later on in years, I listened to a song by Pink Floyd called Flying, and it was off their album, one of their newer albums. It was in 1989 or 90, Learning to Fly. And I listened to the song, and I said, you know what? I want to learn to fly. So with that, I walked across the street from where I lived, and I went to Mrs. Englert's house, and I said, is Jimmy home? And Jimmy came to the door because he lived home, and he was a private pilot instructor, and I took flying lessons from Jimmy Englert. So if you're in the police department, in whatever agency, what you might find under Jimmy Englert's repertoire is that Jimmy started out with single engine aircraft and then went to twin engine aircraft and then certification to multiple engine aircraft, and then worked his way up through thousands of hours of flight instruction to become one of the few airline pilots in all of history to work their way up to fly big jets. Jimmy Englert. If you have the ability, he was my flight instructor. You might even run across my files. So that's a true story. I tell stories that are true and verifiable, and I give you the names and the places. So for the people out there that keep on maligning and slandering my person, I gotta tell you, it's not looking good for you. Not looking good at all. Just like the Chris Hassett story, which I may tell again, and I might tell it today. I have nothing to do today except this. Warren says, Scott DeFlago, yeah, we had custom paddles and leather straps to keep us in check. Princess Anne says hello to Warren. And I got to tell you, when Warren gets to the Philippines, by the way, Warren, I looked into that. I looked into the property we spoke about. I'm waiting for a response. That was just, before I forget. I didn't get out an email this morning, but a request has been made for more information. Princess is saying hello to Warren. Warren is going to be saying hello to Princess, and he is. Graham, Spare the rod and spoil the child. We are seeing the results of this social experiment, hence a new society of snowflakes. I will tell Graham, I agree. And what I really agree with Graham is that there were people that weren't supervised as children or were abused children in that they were never reprimanded when they did something wrong, which by not reprimanding a child, or not, in Graham's words, sparing the rod and spoil the child, by not reprimanding a child might have been more abusive than to reprimand a child when they made a mistake, which in and of itself is child abuse. By not by not saying, son, or my daughter, whatever, you did wrong. That's child abuse, because you don't teach them the rules of society. And this is the problem in today's society. I've had multiple people come on my job, and within 2 days they want a raise. I agreed to give you X amount of dollars in the United States. That's what you're getting. You 2 days later, because you did work, you want more money? Go find another job. You're here on my job site because nobody else would hire you. We had a group of men that just went from one contractor to another. They were worthless laborers. They were the kind of people that every time you turned around, they were slacking. We had one. There were some famous slackers. I could tell you the names of the slackers, but I won't. But I mean, I had an 11-man crew on one job, and I would leave the job site to go buy them pizza on a Friday afternoon. And the pizza place was right across the water. And I would be sitting in the back of the pizza place on the patio in the back of Lenny's Pizza, which was on the water, 16101 Cross Bay Boulevard. And I would be watching my men do nothing. They would all be sitting around. Now, I'm gone 15 minutes, and I order the pizza. I had one other stop, and I order the pizza, and by the time I get to the back, I'm gone a half an hour. I don't know how long they were doing nothing. It was square pie that day. It takes 26 minutes to cook a square pie, to make the pie and to cook it, because there was orders in front. And then when Joseph, the owner of the pizzeria, actually, Joe Cerrone, when Joe came out to let me know the pizza was done, I'm still looking at my men. They're doing nothing. So I get the pie, 2 pies. I get in my car, go back to 95th Street, to the White House, and that's the name of that job we were on. And when I come around the corner, I'm looking, and there's a guy, Patty the Slacker. I won't give you his last name. Patty the Slacker. He's sitting on top, not sitting, he's standing next to a pile of 3x10s, about 2 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 16 feet long. He's got his foot mounted on top of the pile. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette, which I didn't allow on the jobs. I didn't care whether you smoked or not. You could smoke on your break, but you're smoking on the job. And with that, Patty throws the cigarette on the floor, takes his leg off, and the guy on the far side of the lumber and Patty both grab the lumber and pick it up after Patty gives them a hand signal. So basically, for an hour and a half, I don't know what 11 men did. And at a minimum of $10 an hour, that cost me $160 in lost labor. Now I have to make $160. I went into the back and I asked a few people who was slacking. And they didn't want to say. I said, everybody go home. Everybody gone. So that day, except for 2 men, which one of them was a black guy, Leroy, and one was my cousin, because I know damn well Leroy wasn't slacking. And I know damn well my cousin, I lost 9 out of 11 people. In one day, I fired. Now, that wasn't the most people I ever let go in one day. 11, I think 11 was my best day ever. So Leroy, he was like, he was a cool black dude. The stories I could tell you about Leroy. I cannot tell you the Leroy stories on YouTube. In fact, I wouldn't even make those stories in any way, shape, or form public. I would tell them to my friends in person. But Leroy was a big man, black man. I can tell you this. He looked and had the same physique as Muhammad Ali. But I believe that Leroy might have been bigger in many ways, chest, arms, and the size of his hands. Because when I shook Leroy's hands, when anybody shook Leroy's hands, it was like putting your hand inside a baseball net. And he asked me for $5 an hour. He said, he came onto a job, not the White House job. He came on to Tony, who owned Artone Electronics on Rockaway Boulevard and 123rd Street. Artone Electronics. Came on to Tony's job on 95th Street and said, "Sir, I need a job." And he was from the Deep South. And I said, "What could you do?" He goes, "I'm the best man. I'll do anything you ask." And I said, "Would you carry lumber?" Because this guy was built to carry lumber. He was a lumber carrying machine. I go, "I'll do anything you ask, sir. I just needs a job." So I said, "Well, how much money would you like to make?" He goes, "I works for $5 an hour." And I said, "I'm not going to pay you $5 an hour. Are you crazy? The minimum I pay anybody is $10 an hour." $10 an hour? Are you kidding, sir? "Sir, I'll be your best man." Leroy worked for me from early April till just before Christmas. And he was, not only did we become friends, but I actually let Leroy live in my house for a while. Well, whenever it was really late when we finished work, and he would stay in the living room, because otherwise he would have to travel for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to get in and out of Manhattan. So he was trustworthy, a hard-working man, and him I knew was never going to. So, and my cousin was without doubt an honest man. He would never stop working. Because I had rules. If you want to work, you have to work. Simple. It wasn't complicated. You get paid to work. You get your 9 o'clock break that I buy you coffee and a donut pretty much every day. And on Fridays, I go out and spend $30 on pizza and sodas, which was more than any other contractor did. And I gave them a minimum of $10 an hour, which was more than most people were paying at the time. So all I ask is that you keep your original agreement. But the snowflakes, even that time, would say, "This is too hard. But you asked me for a job. I gave you a job. You changed the agreement. I don't agree with that. Adios. Take care. How much do I owe you?" And I always kept enough money in my pocket to pay them. So stories about me being broke and never owning a construction company, I have thousands of pictures, hundreds of videos to prove otherwise, and they will be implied, shown, handed out as factual evidence against the perpetrated and possible slander and maligning of my character on YouTube. If you notice, you will be, I gotta tell you, there will be, I believe, prosecutable offenses, and Warren will give us some updates on that in a few minutes. Let me get back to my show notes. But first, I got to drink a little bit of water. I got water. Where do I have that bottle of water? It poured down. Well, I have a bottle of water I always keep handy. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give everybody a little Libre. Oh, yeah. Oh, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. I'll give you a little, I take a little bit. Consider this a down payment on crocodile tears. So let's go back to my show comments. Let's go back to my show notes. All I can say is they heard a very, oh my God, you are now famous. You have made the grade. You are now part of the international community of police associations, worldwide and renowned, baby. So Warren says, all I can say at this point, I'll ad lib. All I can say is they heard a very interesting live stream this morning, and people could not believe their ears. You want to hear something? I listened to that as well. I couldn't believe my ears. And let me assure you, the live stream and all therein is recorded. Just for your edification. You have become one of the main topics of the international police associations of the world. That, my friend, and I use that word loosely, is probably not a good thing. Gotta tell you, you are now famous. And the implied threats and the innuendo. And the one thing that I gotta know, if Warren is still with us, I gotta know this. When that part of that live stream and that world-renowned vlogger, when that person said, I never lie, I always tell the truth, what was their reaction? I think if I'm going to guess where I am in the show notes, I'm going to guess that was the part where they couldn't believe their ears. I'm going to make a guess. Warren Graham, hey, Cobbler. Cobber means friend. Warren says, Graham, hey, Cobber, how are you? That means friend in Australia. Warren, how are you? From Princess Anne. Princess Anne, I'm okay. Graham, good day, Warren. I'm doing fine. I hope you're the same. Warren to Graham, yeah, mate, I'm good. Now, these people all know each other from other channels. Jack Thompson knows that I want to go to China and I want to send you digital photos of me sitting on the Great Wall. And my goal, as you all well know, is 12,000 individual $1 super chats. So what I'm going to have to say at this point is that the dollar super chats are welcomed, but I might decide during the course of the week, I'm going to flip a coin on this. I don't know. I could ask Jesus. Jesus, come on over here. Busy. You busy? Too busy to talk to Michael Fazio? Jesus, what do you guys say about, what if I say that the only the $1 super chats count, and that we're going to negate all the $1.99 and $2.99 super chats? Hold on, I want to tell you this shit in person. All right, Jesus, come on over here. Jesus, you don't need that phone anymore. I'm on your shoulder, Michael Fazio. Jesus, what should we do about the $1.99 super chats and the $2.99 super chats? Put the phone down. Sorry, Jesus. Don't need the phone. Jesus is right here. If it keeps up, negate them. Negate them if it's more than $1. You made the rules. You sent out the notices. You made them clear. Dollar super chats, $12,000 super chats, not $1.99, not $20 super chats. But what should I do for them? Dump the water, bigger than $1, buckets of water. So, Jesus, how much water? Don't worry, there's more where that came from, Fazio. We got water everywhere in the Philippines. Got water from the Dagat. We got water in the buckets. And even sometimes water comes out of the faucet. So, Jesus. So the dollar super chats, they count. The $1.99s, we might have to negate them. Negate, but water. Okay, Jesus. putting you down. Putting me down, Michael Fazio. Okay, so unfortunately, there are rules, and they should be followed. Not like that live stream, which was breaking the rules, baby. Breaking the rules. Especially, oh my God, the insinuation that I harassed a foreigner from Asia. That is outright blatant lying, outright blatant provable that it was a lie. And it will be proven, hopefully, in a court of law. Help Michael rebuild the Great Wall of China. Jack Thompson. Warren, the Great Wall phone call. The Great Wall phone calls. I will. You know what? If you remember, the way I broke the monies down the other day, if I get 12, I take 15, put it towards the supercomputer. 12,000, 1,500. Leaves me 10,500. I'm going to need 3,000 for airfare. That leaves me 7,500. I'm going to need 3,000 for hotel quarantine. That leaves me 4,500. I'm going to need 2,000 for spending money. That leaves me 2,500. What I decided to do with the extra $2,500 is I'm going to buy a very expensive phone. I don't know what the name of those phones are, but I want to buy. So that'll leave me, I'm going to figure about $1,200, especially in China. They have good phones cheap. I think I could get away with a $1,200 phone. So that will leave me from 25 minus 12. That leaves me 1,300. That's a nice buffer to do some other things. I also have to visit the China Wall, the Great Wall of China. And I have to, what I'll do is I'll use the new phone on the Great Wall of China and do a live stream of the new computer, the new supercomputer on top of the Great Wall with the new phone. And I'll break down the monies I spent getting to China, quarantine in and out necessary, and the cost of the trip to the Great Wall from where I'm going to pick up the computer. I'm going to break it all down for you. And at the end of the day, once I get 12,000 $1 super chats, I'll go through all my live streams and I will ask each individual person to send me their email and send you a digital photo of me, Michael Fazio, sitting on the Great Wall of China, holding up the computer, which is a lot more than Steve Montelli gives anybody. Steve Montelli doesn't give you nothing for your money. Steve Montelli says, give me money. When you give me money, I give you nothing. And that's what you deserve. Steve Montelli got a great attitude. He's picked up on some of the habits that Michael Fazio has. Better to give me money? Jesus, tell him, Jesus. I'm going to let Jesus tell you this. Jesus, tell him. It's in the Bible. What's in the Bible, Jesus? In the Bible in red letters, in the King James Bible. Tell him what's in the Bible, Jesus. Well, before they did that thing to me, I made it known that one day there would be a vlogger, a great vlogger in Asia, where I come from. I reign from Asia, a great vlogger, and his name would be Michael. So tell the people of the world why this great blogger's name would be Michael. Well, if you look up the definitive reasoning and what the word Michael means in the lexicon and inside the Thomas edition of what the words in the Bible mean, get on with it, Jesus. Hold your horses, Fazio. What? Mr. Fazio, hold your horses. Okay, Jesus. I'm relaxed now. Tell us what the word Michael means. Break it down succinctly. The word Michael is Michael. Very high status name in heaven. What does it mean, Jesus? Well, Michael the Archangel, this is true, right? True, right? I mean, Jesus, this is true. It's true. Michael the Archangel was the highest angel in heaven. But some believe, some of the faithful of the flock, some believe that Michael was also God's chosen. How does that interpret into the word Michael? Well, the other possibility is that Michael means he who is likened. What? He who is likened unto God. So he who is likened unto God. Yeah, that's right. That's what I said. He who is likened unto God. This is what Michael means. No bakakun. Jesus speaks every language. You're very good. You're very good. You're good at this language stuff. He made the Tower of Babel. Get on with it, Jesus. Michael means he who is likened unto God. Or what? Or what? Or God itself. Oh my God. So the word Michael means he who is likened unto God, or God itself. That is the true definition of the word Michael, right, Jesus? That's right. That's right. That's the truth. No bakakun. To leave Jesus talking Visayan. Salamat. What's up, Mr. Fazio? Put me down. Put it down, Jesus. So Jesus heard it here first. There would be a great vlogger in the Philippines one day named Michael. But Jesus, you forgot to tell them what they got to do. Pick me up. All right, so hold on, Jesus. He gets ahead of himself, and sometimes he forgets things. I have to remind him, like, I'm Michael. So what else? What should these people do? It's in the Bible. Any special page? Yeah, the special page. What it says is, it is better to give Michael Fazio your money than for Michael Fazio to give money to anybody else. So these are known facts. These are biblical things that you could live your life by. To the flock, to the nature of YouTube. Understand this right now. It is better to give your money to Michael Fazio than for Michael Fazio to give you money. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That's all that needs to be said now, Mr. Fazio. Put me down. Put it down, Jesus. All right, so, you got your marching orders. Put them dollars up on the screen. Show some love. And for the Great World phone calls, Milwaukee, slowly I turn. Jack, top, making a reference to a conversation to a guy. Let me get the Milwaukee drill. Let's throw this right up in Jack's face. Let's jack up. Let's jack up. Jack Thompson. Here you go, buddy. I think this Milwaukee drill is a piece of garbage. I know it for a fact. But let me tell you the Jack Thompson Milwaukee story. So what happened is Jack Thompson had a friend, or so he thought. And the guy came over to Jack Thompson's house with some questionable tools that were, where the questionable part came over is who owned the tools. So he sells some of these questionable tools called Milwaukee to Jack Thompson for $30 US. And then takes that money and then goes out and buys lotto tickets with it and hits the lotto. And what did Jack Thompson get out of it? Got $30 worth of stolen tools. Not even so much as a thank you. Now this guy's a multi-millionaire that owns many businesses. And what has he given Jack Thompson? What we call in the Philippines, voila. Nothing. That's the Milwaukee story behind Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson hates Milwaukee tools, but for a different reason than some. The tool itself that I just showed you is a piece of garbage. It might be a good tool compared to others in the same price range, but in and of itself, it's a piece of garbage. It's only good for 1-inch sheetrock screws, and I wouldn't use it for much more than that for any long term. No way you could put 3 or 4-inch screws into soft wood and do 2 or 3 screws, the armature would burn up. Piece of garbage, the tool is. For the Great Wall phone calls, Warren hits me with a $2, which we covered with water. Jack Thompson says Warren H. and Scott Del Fuego are flagrant rule breakers. Oh, they are. Oh, even Jesus doesn't want to reprimand them right now, but Jesus knows about these. We might have to, you know what? When I'm going to talk to Jesus during the course of the week, I'll get a determination on that. Down, Jack Thompson from Warren H. I've always been a rule breaker. Well, Warren, at this point, where you are right now sitting in today's live world, where you are, where your person is, where your physical being is, you would be considered a rule breaker for telling the truth. That is against the rules. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Down payment for a 3-legged chair. Oh my God, I won't even go there. Patrick Barker. If it's not true, says Patrick Barker. Now, Patrick Barker, welcome to Mike's World and to the machine. Okay, so what I have discovered, now I have been outright actually proven, I can prove this in a dozen different videos, and have, that I am a liar. And that for my lies, I am going to jail for somewhere between 6 and 12 years. However, I have never lied to the authorities. Not only that, what I have been accused of lying has been proven that, in fact, I did not lie. Can I go there? There's a place I just can't go, that I want to go, and that soon, I believe, I'll be able to go there. But I will tell you that by flagrantly multiple times stating that I lied to the authorities, put you in more jeopardy, or put a certain persona in more jeopardy than you could possibly understand, legally, of course. And then by the adding and implementation of possible and insinuated threats, ranging from everything where you're coming to my house, you are coming to my house to do certain things and to knock me out. I gotta tell you, first of all, that is not just an implied threat. It wasn't taken as an insinuated threat. It is reviewed as a factual threat. There's a difference between the laws of the Philippines and the laws that regulate Scotland Yard, Interpol, and the Australian Cyber Crimes Division. It's a complete different thing. 2 different things, 3 different things, 4 different things. And if you add the fact that Warren is right now sitting in the police department called the Sutherland Police Department in Australia, working with the Australian Cyber Crimes Division, if you consider that, then that's 5 different things. And when you consider the fact that some of those agencies don't have international boundaries, and in fact work with and in conjunction to help other agencies or enhance their ability to dole out justice, then you have a serious amount of, shall we call it, on your plate. You're in it really deep. You're in it deep. How deep, only Warren can say. But Warren, again, for those of you who have just showed up, Warren has spent 111 hours prior to today, 111 hours over the last 9 days of his life in a police department, reviewing and notating videos with timestamps and show notes for those videos where Warren has been maligned, slandered, threatened, possibly threatened, and intimidation against Warren coming to the Philippines, because Warren did have cancer. Warren beat his cancer, and what this guy did is he made multiple shows on how unsafe it would be for Warren to come to the Philippines in the guise of being a good citizen, when in fact all that was really behind the videos and blogs to intimidate Warren by telling Warren that the medical people in the Philippines was not as good as in Australia, that he could, maybe some of his illnesses would not be able to be treated and be stuck here, and all this nonsensical stuff. What we call JEDI mind tricks. They're not working. A JEDI mind trick is to tell Warren, don't come to the Philippines, you might not be able to receive medical care. Or don't come to the Philippines, that the guy that you're coming to meet, I got some stuff in the show notes about that. He's a scammer. Warren knows exactly what I am and who I am. I've given Warren full disclosure and permission, and anything that Warren requests to aid him in his quest to right the wrongs and injustices perpetrated on both Warren and his partner, Michael Fazio. Warren is going to get a lot of help from a couple of different places in the Philippines. Rest assured, take this video, take this upload. Everybody, I want everybody that has a solicitor, everybody, I want you to give it to your solicitor and listen to what I'm about to say in a few minutes about doxing people, threatening people, insinuated threats, maligning of character. And especially, I want you to take a copy of the GAC video that my friend Gary Kennedy was slandered beyond recognition, as was my friend Big E in Cebu, slandered beyond recognition. I want you to take a copy of the GAC video, which is one of the most famous videos internationally right now, this day. It's one of the videos that is being passed around, from my understanding, from department to department, to say what is wrong with this picture. Take the GAC video. If you have a friend of yours that's a lawyer or a solicitor, take the GAC video and show it to your solicitor or your lawyer and get their opinion. And if they don't give you an opinion, I won't tell you what the opinion should be. They will have an opinion. When you watch the GAC video, you understand as character, the GAC video nails it. But there are other videos, multiple other videos, by calling Sentai 7 a drunkard without proof, and by saying that he has no value as a human being. Who are you to cast judgment on Sentai 7? To call Big Kevin, slander Big Kevin's reputation on the YouTube community, to slander Dave Phelps, we all know about my past with Dave Phelps. But to call Dave Phelps' wife a bar girl, to say that in no uncertain terms, and to laugh about it, and then to say, how do you like me now? I called your wife a bar girl. That's crazy stuff. I could go on and on and on. I have a list of, I'm only on page 3 of my show notes. I didn't even get to the serious stuff yet, but I will. Now, let's go back to the commentaries. Show them the GAC video. Take the GAC video in its entirety and tell them how you believed something about Big E placing large objects in the bottom of his torso, and then tell them about tell them, show them the GAC video, because I gotta tell you right now, the GAC video is going viral. Warren will confirm this. If it's not true, it would be civil and criminal in the Philippines. So, being that Patrick Barker brought up civil, I'm going to tell you a little story about Warren's civil end of this. When the judgment is passed as to what is going to take place in the near future, Warren will determine whether or not he's going to hire a civil lawyer. I'll ask Warren's permission to say how much, or just to give a roundabout figure, what it's going to cost Warren in Australian dollars to hire a civil lawyer. But I will tell you, it's a big amount of money. And he's going to spend it, so, as he said, with glee. He's going to be gleeful to hire this person, and there are reasons for that. Payment for a single-legged chair, we covered that. Oh, no. Jack Thompson, down payment for a three-legged chair. We got that one. Patrick Barker comes in, civil and criminal. Warren, payment for a single-legged chair. Let me go tell you what. I got water right here. There's no sense. This is distilled water. This stuff's very expensive. It's 80 pesos for 2.5 gallons. But I'm going to tell you, for the super chats, for crocodile tears, it is better to use distilled water. But it might not be my only option, depending on what I think. So here we go. Crocodile tears, baby. Here they come. Okay, crocodile. In case you don't know what crocodile tears are, crocodile tears is when someone has been found to be a fraud. Someone has been found to be a liar. Someone has found to be threatening other YouTube bloggers. They will be producing crocodile tears. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me get a good angle here. All right. You can see. Crocodile tears. Ready? Here we go. You just open your eyes. Eyes open. Eyes open. Eyes open. Crocodile tears, baby. That's what crocodile tears look like. When you slander, when you malign, when you commit possible criminal and possible civil violations of international laws. Forget about the Philippines for now. Forget the Philippines. This shit's gone international. And for those of you who don't know, I still put anise, one piece of anise in each bottle, and multiple anise in the refill bottles, and anise keeps the bacteria out of the bottles. Back to my notes. Where's my glasses? Sometimes when I get crocodile tears, it's hard to find the glasses. Payment for a single-legged chair. My good friend Michael, I give you more. Thumbs up, baby. From Princess Anne. Salamat. Now, Princess Anne has a channel. If you guys want to see a Filipina do blogging, Princess Anne has a Filipina blogging channel. Thank you, Princess Anne. Jack Thompson. Payment for a rooster milking machine. That might be a viable option to earn money in order to no, I won't say that. Thank you, Jack Thompson. I'll get some crocodile tears. I'll get a bucket in a minute. I got to get through some comments. Dennis Adams with the proper certification of $1 super chat. Now, when you get $1, Jack broke the rules again, the rule breaker that he is. But Dennis put $1 up on the screen. That's what we're after. 12,000 $1 super chats. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to go over there. We're going to get a little bit of water in this right here. We'll put some in the Cabo, brand new Cabo. 30 pesos. And let's go get some water. Give Dennis Adam little sloths, little slushy water here. Okay, Dennis, here we go. This is for you, Dennis Adam. A man's man. A man who owns tools. A man who builds his own coal bin. A man who knows how to stoke a coal stove. And a man who knows how to get the job done when it comes to getting the lawn cut. And he has video proof on his page that he has perfected the cutting of grass in America. He has the only and the best way known to man to be able to vlog grass cutting whilst having the grass cut properly. If you want to see what I mean, you're going to have to go to the Dennis Adam channel and check it out, because Dennis Adam has the only verifiable and possibly the best way on earth to cut grass, bar none. So for Dennis Adam, with the proper amount, we give him a little bit of moisture, remembering, of course, that the water I dump on my head goes onto my shirt, down to the floor, and through, of course, the holes that I drilled in the floor prior to making the show. I drilled several holes in the floor so that the water would not puddle up on the floor. So for those of you who think I'm standing in a puddle of water, I'm not. I probably drilled too many, but I drilled multiple holes with this 3 1/4 inch Lennox hole saw. And I'm not in fear of stepping in a puddle. In case anybody was worried about how much water is on the floor, after drilling more than a half a dozen holes with this Lennox 3 1/4 inch hole saw, I assure you there's no water on the floor. There's a lot of water under the house, but nothing on the floor. Just want you to be clear on that. So those of you who are worried about wet feet, don't worry about that. So Dennis, I'm going to give you a little Beatles. I'm going to give you some Beatles. I'm going to make me look like Paul McCartney a little bit. That's what a proper dollar gets you. Get you a little bit of water in a Philippine cabo. Get your shout out for your channel, and it lets everybody in this world know that Dennis Adam has the only verifiable and acceptable method to get grass cut of anybody I've ever seen on YouTube. Dennis Adam has the best way. I gotta tell you, his way is above and beyond. It's a manly thing that he does. He's a real man. Not only does he have a lawnmower, but he has the ability to get the job done. Dennis Adam, 2 thumbs up, baby. Not easy to get 2 thumbs up on my channel. Been a long-term friend and subscriber on YouTube. Thank you for stopping by, Dennis. Salamat. The Dennis Adam. That's right, Jack. The Dennis Adam. Jack Thompson. Dennis Adam. Everybody loves Dennis Adam, by the way. Dennis Adam, can you send your... There he goes. Sending the wife over the cut. So, Dennis Adam, can you send your wife over? My grass needs to be cut properly. God, Warren gave up the ghost. He gave the plot away. If you want to see a man manhandle the grass properly, go to Dennis Adams' channel. Dennis Adams says, LOL, expat prepper. Now, expat prepper, his wife is a true farmer, and he has a channel that he runs, and he shows you how to build flower boxes and or vegetable gardens. His wife, I don't know how much land they have, but it certainly surprised me how much land expat prepper has in the Philippines, and how many hundreds, if not thousands, of squash and zucchini and watermelons he has on his property. So if you want to watch a channel run by a man who knows how to plant stuff, and wife works with him to plant vegetables that are they would have to be sold off to the local markets. There's just I saw hundreds of squash, round, the big green round squash. I saw hundreds of them, and those were just the ones that were ready to be harvested. So he's a true farmer, and I give him a shout out, and thanks for being my friend here, Expat Prepper. We've been friends. Larry and I have been friends for a while, and I certainly, although I have grown gardens, but I have no wish, want, will, or desire to have a big piece of land and have a garden on it like that. I've tried my hand at planting tomatoes and eggplants, but that's it. That was pretty much as far as it ever went. My dad, he had peach trees and pear trees and squash, tomatoes, and grapes. He was big on grapes and peaches in his backyard. But I myself never took the time to grow a big garden. Tomatoes I like. I throw a 5-gallon bucket of sand on my patio with some tomato bait, and the tomatoes grow sand as long as they get a good amount of rain. So Expat Prepper, if you want to know about farming, I would suggest Expat Prepper to go to his channel. Vikin777, a long-term subscriber and friend. We have people popping up from every direction. Thank you. I did see Mr. Willis. Don't leave. I want to give you a proper shout out. Warren says, Dennis, please send your wife over. The grass needs cutting. Vikin777, big shout out. Long-term subscriber, like 9 years. Thank you for stopping by. Michael, I just found you a red bullshit alert button. Thank you. Salamat. They have them, but I don't. I thank you, Warren. Thank you very much. One day we'll sit down together and push that button together. That bullshit. Expat, not bullshit. That's not bullshit. All right, so everybody's going to say hello to Larry, Expat Prepper, and to Vikin777. Warren, it's great to see you from Expat Prepper. Vikin, hello, Warren. Expat Prepper, always good to see you, mate. Now, these people, not only do they come to my channel, but on other people's channel, like the great Steve Montelli, 2 thumbs up. They go to Steve Montelli's channel, they go to several other channels, and you'll see them all over the internet saying hello to one another in other places. It's kind of like a courtesy. Takes a lot of time to say hello to everybody on the channel, and sometimes you miss a lot of the content. So typically I'll watch a video without saying anything, but I see them, and I know that they are friends from a long time ago. 50 liters of water at once would be worth at least $2. 50 liters. I'm going to have to install a water tank on the roof. 50 liters. That would be like 2 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to work on that. I could do that. I have the holes in the floor will now allow me to put as many liters as I need, but I don't have 50 liters of water that I could bring in here so easy. So maybe on the next show, I'll bring in some 5-gallon bottles, which are 20 liters, and I will dump those. How's that? That fair? That's fair. You're welcome, Warren. I don't see a response to that inquiry, but yeah, I am sure that if I don't get a physical response from that right away, I'm gonna make something else even better yet. The person who owns that property slash house, he lives in Australia. He's in Australia right now. He's stuck in Australia. So when I sent out the mail, I requested an email address and a telephone number. I didn't specify the Australian telephone number, but I'm pretty sure I'll see those people shortly. So I didn't forget. But that person is actually in Australia and has been stuck in Australia. He went on a 3-week vacation back in February, and he's been stuck in Australia for 5 months now. Dennis Adams, screen in exhaust is a great spark arrestor only. So Dennis is referring, so I told you Dennis Adams is a man of many talents, and he is explaining why the screen is in the muffler of the Echo leaf blower that I posted to my friends and on the higher levels of Patreon account. Okay, so there's a screen in there about this big. The screen in the exhaust is a spark arrestor only. They are in chainsaws too, to prevent sparks and unwanted brush fires. Okay, that I got. Thank you, Dennis. And so Dennis is one of the world's leading researchers. I got to tell you, you will say some odd thing to Dennis, and he will spend multiple hours researching something if you're his friend. And thank you very much for the information. I knew there was a screen. I was only told in the video I watched that there was a screen, but not why. So Dennis enhances my understanding by saying it's a spark arrestor. I would have thought the muffler is this big. It's a solid 10 inches tall, 4 inches wide, and 2 3/4 inches thick. It's this big, the muffler, and this is the parts. The muffler is this big without exaggeration. It's this thick, it's this tall, and it's this wide. And right at the bottom here is where this one screen exit. There's a deflector muffler. It deflects the flow. The last final blows from the muffler come out of a deflector, and the screen is right here. So I would have thought all the baffling in the muffler would have arrested any sparks at that point. But if there's a backfire, there could be gas coming out. And also, there's baffles in the muffler that could wear out, and the screen would be a last resort. So that makes sense. Thank you, Dennis. Well said. So Jack knows about the screen. Now, I had to look it up on YouTube about 6 months ago, why the machine wasn't getting full power. But in addition, as I said and showed everybody in the live stream, the private live stream, that they said if the rust, the baffles inside the muffler vibrated loose and the screens clogged up with rust, it wouldn't allow the machine to breathe properly, and it would slow down the potential of the engine. But I think it's a carburetor problem, but because it only increased it 10 or 15%, as you saw. So thank you for the added information. Message retracted from Warren Hunt. Johnny Adriel, Rabbi Faz is knowledgeable on many various subjects. How is Black Jesus going? Haven't seen him for a while. That's Johnny Adriel is addressing Jesus's alter ego, who Simulacron, if you're watching, requested, and he requested it. He wasn't arrogant about it. Simulacron, who in the past has been very generous to Michael Fazio's super chat and in comments, and always been a long-term positive commenter on my channel, made a request after I did Jesus and his alter ego to not have Jesus's alter ego on the show. I didn't respond to the comment. In response to the comment, Simulacron, if you're watching, Jesus's alter ego probably won't appear in the show today. And it might not appear in the show ever again. The jury's out on that one, but when the jury comes in with a final decision, Jesus's alter ego might have something to say, just to work that into the show notes, because there will be an inquiry. It is about to happen. Thank you, Johnny Adriel. Warren, oh my God, Warren confirms. He not only makes note, but he confirms that there are authoritative figures globally and worldwide, possibly in multiple countries, listening to this live stream. He confirms that. And listening to the live stream that Warren mentioned before, with multiple aberrations of the truth, multiple possible psychological breaks, multiple fictitious statements, and multiple outright blatant lies, possibly to the level of criminal. They are still listening to a live stream that was posted this morning by a so-called blogger, and I haven't even gotten to some of the more egregious things. So Warren says, we are still listening. They have found the whole live stream to be abnormal. Johnny Adriel, he was on the show earlier, but will be back. But not as the alter ego. Warren, big smiles for Warren from Johnny Adriel. Salamat, Johnny. Thank you very much for stopping by, Johnny. Appreciate that. I'm seeing a lot of names I haven't seen in a long time, including Mr. Willis, who is, in fact, a person I consider a friend and a person I'd like to meet when he gets to the Philippines, and a person who I have remained in quasi-contact with, who was a member of my Patreon community. He's no longer a member of my Patreon community because of the lockdown. And the fact that Mr. Willis had asked me several questions whilst he was a member of the Patreon community about the Philippines, although he knows about the Philippines and more than most people that have lived in the Philippines. Mr. Willis, where he lives, he has a big understanding of the Philippines. Let's leave it at that. So Mr. Willis will attest to the fact that even though Mr. Willis exited his Patreon pledge, that I have remained in contact with Mr. Willis and have offered at any time Mr. Willis is welcome to ask me a question or have a conversation with me. This is because I enjoy Mr. Willis's conversation, number one, but number two, because he was kind enough to become a Patreon member and then said, things are looking not so good for me to get to the Philippines. I'm going to exit your Patreon community. I said, okay, if you need anything, let me know. And we are still Skype friends. So I've heard stories where I have condemned certain people because they didn't give me a Skype membership fee or because they didn't give me Super Chat. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's an outright blatant lie. There's no truth to that. What there is truth to, and let me make this perfectly clear, that a person that bought 2 motorcycles, 2 snowmobiles, new, 2 motorcycles, 2 snowmobiles, multiple houses, and own multiple commercial vehicles with multiple people working for him, probably making upwards of $10,000 a week, quit my Patreon page at the $3 level. And when I asked him why, he never responded. So I just blocked him. But the thing that you don't understand is that at the $3 level, you are only privileged to receive certain videos. You're not privileged to receive the higher echelon of my videos, or what I consider the more personal videos, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour videos. For a year or more, at the $3 level, I sent this person videos that were only supposed to be viewed at the $10, $20, or $50 levels. And in return, after buying 2 brand new motorcycles, 2 brand new snowmobiles, several new trucks, and spending upwards of $700,000 is my best estimate, he quit. And I said, why did you quit? And I received no response. So for that, I may have said a few unkind words, not because of the $3, but because he showed me no respect. And I think I deserved respect, considering the amount of extra I did for him in regards to how much time it took me to send that individual emails of the videos. What do you think? You just walk over to the screen and go, send Joe Blow the video. No, I have to go to my videos page, copy the links, open up the Yahoo. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds to a minute just to get to the Yahoo page, then press compose, and then send the video and make a title. Sometimes you spend 4 to 7 minutes just to send out a video. What? My time isn't worth anything? Well, according to that person, no, it wasn't worth anything. So I shit-canned him because he showed me no respect when I asked him why he quit Patreon. He just didn't say a word. But this was after he spent several $100,000 on toys. But he couldn't answer my question. So, if you're not going to show me any respect, I didn't care that he quit Patreon. I just cared that he quit Patreon and wouldn't give me an answer as to why. And I don't care anymore, but I heard on the live stream a completely different version of the story. Of course, everybody's entitled to their version of the truth. But in fact, I can prove some of the things on the live stream were outright blatant lies. Outright blatant lies. It won't ever get to that. You'd have to surpass the first 50 videos to get to that video to prove that I wasn't lying. You might have to surpass internationally. There are now, well, I got to tell you that right now, internationally, the authorities are in possession. As of today, it reached the 300 video mark as of yesterday. Today, there are another certain amount of videos given to the authorities that they will be reviewing. Now, we're not talking about just one person reviewing this stuff. We're not talking about one person. There is an entire team of people reviewing these videos, and then they will, they'll decide what to do about the videos, and they'll give their opinion based on the character that they see in the videos. This is not a joke. This is serious stuff. This is actually happening right now today. As I speak, as I sit here, Warren is in a major police department in Australia working with the Cyber Crimes Division. You think I'm kidding? Just wait a few weeks and you'll see that I wasn't kidding you. And the implied threats, the inferred threats about smashing Warren H's toes or my toes or not letting anything go until the last and the worst possible thing, you are going to take care of this situation. Guaranteed, I talked to so-and-so about this. You have screwed the pooch. And you did it yourself. Nobody did it to you. You did it yourself. How many people in this world have told you to stop? How many people have told you to get off YouTube? And then, how many of these videos that you say you didn't do, or that you never lied, have you shown your, let's call them friends? How many of these videos? Well, let me tell you something. Warren and the other authorities are about to possibly, it might happen, some of these videos are going to have to be addressed in a court of law. And then we will see where that goes. Of course, no one knows the outcome, but I will tell you there are predetermined thought patterns about what's going on. And I will tell you that of the people making predetermined thought patterns or assessing character of a particular situation, everybody's in agreement. Everybody's in agreement. The file known as, we're just going to dub it the cringe file, is not going to be pretty. Johnny Adro, Black Jesus looks a bit titty today. Must have got into the Sacramento wine cupboard. Oh, that's who Black Jesus is. Well, I didn't realize this was Black Jesus. Yeah, you know what? He could be Black Jesus. Could be. You know, there's a theory, and our theory holds some water. No pun intended, Jesus. Michael, actually, the theory holds a little bit of water that Jesus, Jesus was certainly not a white man. And Jesus was born in Asia, in the tribe of, as a descendant of the tribe of Judah, which were the Israelites, and known as the first tribe of the 12 tribes. So he was basically Asian, but there are stories that he was black. And I've heard these stories, and I don't really, I saw a video, a movie, really cool movie, that some guy had a choice to go anywhere back in time, and he chose to go back, and destroy Christianity. And the way he was going to do that was to kill Jesus. So I watched this movie with great intent. I was going, what? This is a really cool story. Because theoretically, if you eliminate part of the past, the future changes. And it depicted Jesus as a very brown-skinned man. So it was politically correct, and it was politically acceptable. And it was actually quite a good movie. So it was, but he wasn't a white man. And if in fact Jesus is a descendant, so-called, from the tribe of Judah, or the lion of the tribe of Judah, then it would make him an Israelite and or of not black, but not white skin. So Jesus was not a white man. That I would agree. From Jesus and the gang, Mr. Willis is here. Warren Salamat from Jesus and the gang is here. We have water. Even though Warren broke the rules with the $2 super chat, we're gonna break the rules, and we're gonna give Warren, it's because it's getting hot in here more than anything else. Gonna give Warren $2 worth of tears. Oh, wait a second. Let me get a good angle on this. Can you see the water coming down the side of my face? How's that angle? Coming off my nose? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Did you see that? Could see it. We're not dealing with fake tears here. These are real tears. In fact, if the international authorities or the authorities from the international agencies do what Warren thinks they're going to do, there will be a place for real crocodile tears. Welcome to the machine, Mr. Willis. Thank you, Warren. I explained to who Mr. Willis is, and we've maintained not the closest conversation, but Mr. Willis and I are still friends on Skype, and if there's ever a question that Mr. Willis has, he's welcome to say hello or ask a question. But what you should know is that I have, at this point, many Skype friends. There is just not enough time in the day to talk to everybody, considering sometimes I spend, very rarely do I spend less than 45 minutes with my friends on Skype. Doesn't leave a lot of time in the day. Scott Del Fuego, I don't need contractor durability. I really like the rigid tools. I have work, great warranty, and batteries work, all series of batteries and tools compatible of 18 volt, if 18 volt. Well, I'm a Milwaukee person, and the reason I bought the Milwaukee tool, even though I had no way to test it, I bought it online. It was a box of 7 tools. I bought the Milwaukee tool because in the Philippines, they had this tool in the Philippines. I just didn't buy it here because it was exactly twice the price, 100% import fee. And I needed the tools in America to do the job. I needed to rework some of the things in my house in America. I needed to build some stuff. I had no tools there. I only had supplies that I was buying. And my tools in Hurricane Sandy, I had 2 boxes of power tools. They got wet, and the family did what they could to restore them. They flushed them out with water when the water came back on, but as soon as you turn them on, the armatures burn up. So I needed a set of tools. So Milwaukee tools were available in the Philippines, so I knew I could get replacement batteries for them. That's why I bought the Milwaukee. But I never bought a rigid tool. I have some rigid. I had an electric rigid 300 pipe cutter, the big one with the motor that you could put threads on up to 3 or 4-inch pipe, galvanized pipe, steel pipe. Sold that. I have a rigid pipe vise with 3 legs that weighs about 60 pounds. And I have rigid pipe cutters and rigid pipe wrenches. But those are the only, I don't have any rigid power tools anymore that I know of. I don't think I ever bought a rigid power tool. So if you're happy with them, Scott, I'm happy with them. Hey, Mr. Willis, he's way behind on comments. Mr. Willis came in with the right amount of money. I'm going to give him some water to cool me off and to help Mr. Willis understand that we are serious about these $12,001 super chats. So, Mr. Willis, hold your horses there. Hold on to your horses, Mr. Willis. Don't worry about the water on the floor, Mr. Willis. As I explained, I took care of the water on the floor with my Milwaukee drill, and I made a few, half a dozen or so, and when I say or so, it could be more, a half a dozen holes in the floor with this Lennox hole saw. So, Mr. Willis, don't worry about me sitting in a puddle or standing in a puddle of water. I'm good. So, Mr. Willis, this dip is for you. I'll give you a little Beatles action here. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to go back into the days of high school when my hairline was 1/4 inch forward from where it is today, proving that my hairline is receding and it's back a full 1/4 of an inch, near as I can tell. Here you go, Mr. Willis. This H2O is for you, Mr. Willis. And thank you. Thank you very much for stopping by. Ready? The dollar. The dollar gets more water than the $2 because the dollar follows the guidelines. Ah, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my Willis. Oh, Willis. Oh, Willis. Yeah, baby. Save some if there is. Oh, my God. I see light under the house. The sun is at the right angle. I'm thinking that 7 of these holes with this hole saw might have been overkill, to be honest. 7 3¼ inch holes directly underneath the chair. I may have even reduced the strength of the flooring itself, but I am guaranteed to not have puddles. I am puddle free. Thank you, Mr. Willis. Salama. Thank you very much for stopping by, Mr. Willis. Appreciate that. And you know, and I know that if I have the fedora on, I'm running a legitimate scam, and that scam can be boiled down to $21 super chats. Mr. Willis, hello, Warren. It's been a while since participating in the live streams. I hear you are doing better, and glad to know that. Everybody is glad to know that, Mr. Willis. Thanks for the love. Mr. Willis, really bad. We are getting 240 people getting sick in some states each day. We're talking about the virus. I think after 12 years, I know who the real Michael Fazio is. That's probably true. Warren, I got to tell you, there's one thing about Warren. So Warren gives the authorities 300 plus videos, right? Now, I have trouble keeping track of the timestamps and remembering the names of the videos. If it was tools, because real men remember where their tools are, what tools they have, and what needs to be repaired. That's real men. Not so real men don't have any tools and don't have anything to worry about as far as repairs. But real men have the ability to remember their tools, where the tools are, what needs to be repaired, what needs to be redone. Well, if I had 350 tools, which I have a lot more than that, I remember where each tool is, except for those damn Allen keys. I don't remember where I put those, but it's only a little rack about that big. And I have them somewhere. I didn't need them, fortunately, for the echoed leaf blower job, but that has bothered me for 3 days. Where I put that set of Allen wrenches. And the fact that they were in a black box, they're not in that black box anymore. Later, after I did the live stream, I found the black box yesterday. And the black box was sitting on another box, but that box was empty, the black box was empty, and the box on top of the black box was empty. So it was a set of Allen keys on a 3/8 drive that could be attached to a 3/8 drive. And apparently I took the set out and put it in another box. All right, I don't remember what box I put it in. One of the few things that I forgot in a very long time. But Warren, getting back to Warren has the ability to pick any video and remember every timestamp and every notation where he was maligned, slandered, defamed, and or possibly criminally slandered. He has an ability that goes far beyond that of mortal men. Princess Anne is still here. Thank you, Mr. Willis. I heard that New Zealand had 14 cases that they had. So Mr. Willis and Warren Hunt are discussing the virus here in Hawaii. It's getting worse. We are getting triple-digit cases per day. Got 200 last night. So Mr. Willis and I had a brief, not conversation, but chat about this. And they are ramping up the cases in Hawaii, because a few weeks ago, there were only a handful, less than 10 cases a day in Hawaii. And so what they did was they ramped up the numbers so that now people in Hawaii traveling to the mainland or anywhere else have to be quarantined. Just more big business making big money with these quarantine hotels, or making some money with the quarantine hotels. Okay, so let me go back over here. Uh-oh, there's more. Andrew Steinmetz is in the house. This thing just jumped. I don't even know where it... Well, here it is. Okay, here we are. Okay, Mr. Willis's super chat was taken care of well, if I might say. I got to get back to my notes. What was my next note? I was going to tell the Chris Hassett story. I might have to leave that for a whole different day. Oh, one more thing that a vlogger did in fact do. Unquestionably, I have proof, and so do the authorities, that there was unjust vexation and doxing, illegal. No doubt about those two things happen. So those things are at the bottom of the scale of things to prosecute someone for, but they are on the docket. Let's rest assured, those two things are on the docket. They will be addressed. Okay, Mr. Willis, here we had a news report today. Warren says, we had a news report today that there are more cases now, and they are almost 50. Shame when they when we were free for so long, and now look at what's happening. Yes, shame it's those idiots who are not listening and wearing masks, says Mr. Wilson, and violating the quarantine rules. Thank you, Mr. Willis. Mr. Willis, did you hear the Philippines is going to issue the Russian vaccine? I heard that. No, I didn't hear that. I don't trust the vaccine. Do you? Says Mr. Willis. Mr. Willis, from Warren H., I would not be willing to take it until the U.S. says it's 10 million% free. Mr. Willis agrees. Oh, Andrew Steinmetz. My friend Andrew, I got to figure out, Andrew, how to get Yannick, the search engine Yannick, on my page, because Jack Thompson said that you could search things more properly. So Andrew Steinmetz, who is actually Blue Rose, and a longtime friend of mine, which I'm going to say thank you for stopping by. Andrew only makes a guest appearance for a few minutes because Andrew is one of the few people of my subscribers that is working long hours, and he is got a new job that him and I talked about. I won't tell you what it is, but thank you for stopping by. So for the $1 super chat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a water dump because Andrew followed the rules. So I could put the hat on or take the hat off, but what I'm going to do for Andrew, because he followed the rules, he came, I'm going to take the hat, I'm going to try something. I'm going to put the hat on upside down like this, like a top hat, but a bottom hat. And I'm going to crouch down a little bit so you could see the water go into the hat. And then we're going to take a look at what we can see when we see what we can see. So in here, there's water. And you'll be able to see. Let me get a little bit lower here. Yeah. There's a first, ladies and gentlemen. Saw it here first. The water is going. The water is. What can you see? Can you see the water? Let me know in the show notes. Oh, there it is. There's the water. Oh, my God. It's chosen to come out from the front. Oh, let's just dump it all. There we go. Oh boy. It chose the front exit, which means it's going to flow down my chest, around my back, onto the floor directly, won't even hit the chair, and straight down into those holes I drilled in the floor to get rid of the water. Thank you, Andrew. Salamat. And Andrew, in case you're just coming in, don't worry about water on the floor. Take care of that by drilling 7 3¼ inch holes in the floor, which not only give me a place cross ventilation, but it lets the water go straight down through the floor. Thank you, Andrew. Salamat. Warren gave me another $2 donation. So what are we gonna? We're gonna clap for Warren. We're gonna clap for Warren because you know what? I hate to just clap. Water. I said in the beginning there would be buckets of water. Let's see if there's any water left in this bucket. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. $2. Let's see, $2. Oh my God, there's another bucket over there. I forgot about that other bucket. Look at this. So let's take this bucket here. Let's take this bucket here. And let's see what you could see, if I could see what you see and I see. Let's take the hat off for Warren's $2 donation there to the Fazio towards the 12th. Oh yeah, it's going to work. I can tell this is going to work good. I got to get over here a little bit because I want the water to fall directly into one of the holes. There's a lot of holes down there, but I got one right below me. So let's go back here like this and start the dump. I'm dumping water on my head. I'm making money on YouTube. Oh yeah, baby, we'll save a little bit for somebody else. We want to share the wealth. Water is wealth in the desert. You live in the desert, water is wealth. Now, where is my glasses? Oh, never mind. Couldn't see. I couldn't see. I thought I didn't have the glasses on. I couldn't see, and I thought I didn't have the glasses on, but I couldn't see because the glasses, they'd be wet. So I'm going to get this hat back on, put my hair back where it belongs. Oh, we are down in the show notes to the implied threats. Let's go back to the show notes. Duly noted that a certain blogger committed unjust vexation. Not a big crime, but prosecutable. It also doxed a number of people. Multiple counts of doxing. Let's go to my show notes. Okay, let's just go right here. I'll show this to you. Multiple counts of doxing. Warren Hunt, Uncle Sam, DNC, Roberto. And in Roberto's case, he even sent the police not only to Roberto's house on 3 different occasions, but to Roberto's daughter's house, which scared the shit out of her. Bob Cooper, Popeye, Dave Phelps, all were doxxed on YouTube, and many others. I don't know that I'm going to name the rest of them, but many others. Those were just a few of the multiple doxing. I'm hesitant to name a few of the others because actually it's not fair. Those people, I'm sure, would agree. But one more person that was doxxed big time. And the way this person goes about doxing someone, this isn't criminal, by the way. And there was nothing illegal done by the people, nothing really criminal done by doxing the people. The slander that came with the doxing, that was probably prosecutable. But the doxing itself, in case you people are out there don't know how this works. If you become friends with a jerk, an absolutely lowbrow type guy or woman, in anywhere on social media, and you send them an email, well, that email, even though you request that that email remains private, can go into the public domain without criminal charges, without the ability to file criminal charges about that person making that information in that email public. Now, what happens is some people are really good at plying you for information. First thing they do is they want to be your best friend in the whole world. You are the cat's buttocks. You are the icing on the cake. You are the cream of the creme. Okay? And they sucker up to you and butter up to you to be your best friend in the whole world. And all of this happens in about 45 minutes. And you say, this guy, he seems like a nice guy. Let me give him my telephone number. Let me tell him where I live. Let me send an email to him that has my personal information on it. And typically in this particular case, typically within very few people maintain this close allied love and friendship with this particular entity. Very few people last more than, I would say, if you could go 2 weeks before there's some sort of a disagreement and you get thrown under the bus, as many, if not all, people have been thrown under the bus. 2 weeks would be the outskirts of your friendship with this person. However, in that 2 weeks, they have sucked enough information out of you, personal and legal information. This is what they do. They become your friend to suck up as much information from you so that they can hold that over your head and possibly not necessarily monetary extortion, but mental extortion, that they're gonna give your personal information away on the internet. Well, if you gave them your personal information in an email or a text message on Skype or Facebook or wherever, technically they can put that information out there. But, and this is a big but, it's not morally acceptable. So when it goes to legalities of exposing someone's personal information that you have so-called become befriended, morally it's not acceptable, but legally it's borderline. However, if you are involved in any kind of legal dispute and you contact people's friends, neighbors, past friends and acquaintances, and ply them for information or offer information to them, and then imply that the person, aka Warren or myself or anyone else, Big E, has possibly committed a crime, and that you're willing to assist these people with your unsolicited offers. The fact that you're involved in a lawsuit and or legal dispute disqualifies you from contacting anybody pertaining to the person you have a dispute with. That is illegal, and that's prosecutable, and that is on the table. More so than the doxing, the contacting of people that were unsolicited and offering them information of a possible criminal or possible law-breaking venue. That's not allowed. And that is also going to show character in an upcoming thing. Call it a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Just rest assured that shit is happening now. As well as I mentioned before, telling people that Michael Fazio is living in the Philippines and running away from the law in America and living in the Philippines under an assumed name, Michael Fazic, Fazic, is outright slander, maligning of character, and duly noted. In my opinion, and in the opinion of the authorities. That video that you titled Michael Fazio is basically against the law. But like I said, it's on a list of videos that are now in the 300s plus. I don't know where you're going, but I would suggest that you make plans. I would ask you, would anybody that made these kind of statements and or comments, would anybody ever show them to any authoritative figure and expect that authoritative figure to take their side? Especially when you're the Bubble Boy video. Let's talk about the Bubble Boy. It's a little bit, the Bubble Boy video is a big to-do. I gotta tell you, it's a big to-do in the Australian Cybercrimes and Sutherland Police Department. And Warren would confirm if it's going to or already has gone to Scotland Yard and or Interpol, and or is it going to the Philippines Cybercrimes Division? That's a question that only Warren Hunt can answer. But the Bubble Boy video, totally disgusting in nature. As far as character reference is concerned, there's nothing funny or even legal, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the authorities, as to what was stated in the Bubble Boy video. And the accusations against myself and Warren H. are duly noted with the authorities. Andrew Steinmetz, you got your $2 worth. This is from Jesus and the Boys. Expat Pepper is a great man, says Warren. Thank you, Warren. Andrew Steinmetz, hello. Hello, the man with the plan, Warren H. That's the man. Andrew with the wordsmithing. Mr. Willis with another proper super chat. Let's give Mr. Willis. Oh my God. That one fell down. Okay, got a little bit more. Mr. Willis gives us the proper super chat. That when you get a proper super chat, you get. We're running out of water out of those buckets. Mr. Willis, salamat. I put this over there on Jesus's head. Finally, Jesus' head come in a little bit handy there. I put it right on his face a little bit. Jesus is very flat, and he's actually holding. Jesus, here, look at this. Jesus is actually holding my water. Look at that. Hold my water, Jesus. That's like hold my beer, but I don't drink. Jesus, hold my water. Okay, Mr. Fazio, hold your water. Jesus is holding Fazio's water. Salamat. What's up, Bayan? I love when Jesus speaks for Sire. I love that. Mr. Willis is a top shelf quality of man. Thank you, Warren. Mr. Willis, I appreciate the acknowledgement, Mr. Fazio. You are a stand-up man's man. Well, Mr. Willis has something to say, so let me read it so I can read it properly. Mr. Willis says, I appreciate the acknowledgement, Mr. Fazio. He even calls me Mr. Fazio on Skype, even when I say, please call me Michael or Mike. So, I appreciate the acknowledgement, Mr. Fazio. You are a stand-up man's man. I have learned much info about construction techniques and the Philippines in general. Thank you. I would definitely like to apprentice under Mr. Fazio. Apprentice in construction. I could teach people construction things and tricks. Although I'm out of the construction industry for a long time now. I was a general contractor and discovered that being a general contractor, you had to have, too many tools, too many different kinds of nails, too many different kinds of nuts and bolts and washers and button washers to put kitchen cabinets together and glues and putties and compounds. So one day, I don't know, I was probably 25, somebody said, why don't you build Well, I'll tell you exactly how old I was. When I built my first deck, I was 21 years old. I built the best deck anybody ever saw. A landscaper a few years later said, Freddie Salerno. And you can look it up. Name is a real name, Freddie Salerno. And from the Salerno family. Freddie Salerno said, why don't you go into the deck business? I said, I don't know about that. I don't have a lot of deck building, because I'll give you some deck building. So he asked me to build a deck for him, and that moved on to another friend, and another friend after that, before you know it, I was in the deck building business. And it was simple. It was like 12 different size lumbers, 15 or 20 different size bolts, and some wrenches. That was it. And then I went into the deck building. Then it extended into dock building, which means I had to buy a crane barge, which you've heard stories about that. I never owned a crane barge. That's bullshit. Okay, so you hear a lot of stuff on YouTube. Not all of it's true, but what I just said to you is true. So let's go back to the notes. And a lot of people worked for me. They didn't like the hard labor that they had to do, but they worked for me to learn how to do the deck building jobs. That was just basic. And sometimes they'd even tell me, I only want to work for you for 3 months till I learn how to build decks. And then I'm going to go into the deck building business. Just knock yourself out. As long as you work hard, you can stay late working. And most of them that tried to go into the deck building business, not an easy business to do. Hard labor, long hours, lots of and plus you got to sell the jobs. Thank you, Mr. Willis. I have a Makita 18-volt power tools laying around. I do like the new Milwaukee Fuel Series tool, however. I think that's what this is, Mr. Willis. No, it's the lithium. I don't even... It's so I really had to look at that. Most of my hand tools, says Mr. Willis, are U.S. made. Well, that's where this Milwaukee was made. I was hoping I'd get a better quality. And maybe that's the best they do nowadays, but I think that tool's a piece of garbage. Scott the Fuego is back. The more they test, given an infection rate not declining enough to offset the increase. These are statistical facts that Scott is about to say. Given that Scott knows from a different perspective than any of you people that are watching this live stream understand. Scott Del Fuego has a different perspective. Understand. The more they test, given an infection rate not declining enough to offset the increase, the more cases they will find. Total cases will always go up. That is like a trick. It can't go down. That's true. So, thank you very much, Scott, for sticking through this. And it's pretty much close to Scott's bedtime. And I'm going to end this live stream in no more than 17 minutes. So, if anybody has something to say, please say it now. Okay, Warren has something to say. But first, Andrew Steinmetz. Yeah, baby, that's what we get for following the rules. Big water dumps, big water drops. And in the next live stream, there'll be buckets, 5-gallon buckets of water. Warren says about those 300 plus videos, just to be clear, if you're watching this live stream and you did, in fact, possibly commit some sort of serious, egregious, if not immoral, criminal things, especially this morning, last week, the day before yesterday, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, last month, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 12 months ago, 9 months ago, 15 months ago, 18 months. If you have committed something that might be possibly considered criminal in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, 124 hours, If you have committed a possible criminal activity in the last 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, or 3.5 years, if you have possibly said something that was immoral and or criminal in the last 24 hours, 16 hours, 13 days, 12 days, 9 days, 8 days, 7 days, 24 days, 36 days, 19 days, or 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, 72 months, 56 months, 64 months, 87 years. 87 years. The hell? Sorry about that. Made a mistake. 87 years. Oh, I know where 87 years comes from. It comes from the possible amount of time you could be deterred. 87 years. 87 years. Oh my God. That's a long time to be interned, baby. So, even though it was a slip of the tongue, right now the authorities are up to 87 years of possible internment. Salamat. Salamat. Okay, so we got LaRue Seagrass is in the house, baby. Now, LaRue is the most religious person on my show, and that's another reason why Jesus' alter ego doesn't come on. I love LaRue Seagrass. So does Jack, so does Scott, Warren, Andrew, and many, many, many others. Expat Prepper. Many people love LaRue. I don't want to degrade LaRue Seagrass's belief in God using Jesus' alter ego. So thank you very much, LaRue Seagrass, for coming. She always comes. She's always watching. She usually does her chores in the background while watching. Thank you, LaRue Seagrass. Good afternoon, says LaRue to all. LaRue, on your ads now, host Michael. Well, YouTube is showing. I can't believe YouTube is showing ads. You know what I discovered in the videos that I have uploaded, and I have now. Well, I don't want to tell you how many, but if you think that Warren has a lot of videos where he's handed over to the authorities 300 videos, that's nothing. Warren is just the beginner. And one thing that I laughed about this week with Warren, we had a good laugh, and this was on Skype in real life. Warren said, I spent 111 hours in the last 9 days with the Sutherland Police Department and the Australian Cybercrimes Division. And I said, welcome to Mike's World. And we both laughed because he is just starting out on this venture, whereas he is starting with a vengeance. And what I'm going to tell you in an upcoming live stream is what the civil lawyer that Warren interviewed last week, what it's going to cost for an international civil lawyer is amazing. But the amazement is only, shall we say, watered down by the fact that Warren is agreeable to the price that the civil lawyer gave to handle the case. And what that civil lawyer will do is move this on a different level, on a different venue from the criminal possibilities from the Australian Cybercrimes Unit, possible cybercrimes from Scotland Yard, possible cybercrimes from Interpol, and possible cybercrimes from the Philippines in conjunction with the Sutherland Police Department. What this civil lawyer is going to do is connect somehow to somebody in the Philippines and file for Warren if the authorities are in agreement for one particular aspect of the whole concept that's being utilized right now. So Warren would be the first person to tell you that it's a lot of money. So I don't know if Warren wants to tell you how much, or we're going to wait for another live stream, but we only have a few minutes left in this live stream. Scott Del Fuego, Warren H. I have, whoa, God, Warren is out. It's outdone me. Warren says, I have 602 to hand over once I've done the transcripts. Oh my God. Yeah, that beats me by 56. Beats me 602. Warren has 602 and I only have 554. Wow. No, I have 448, 444. I have 602. Yeah, 648. He has 602. I have 548. All code. And some of them are doubles, I got to tell you. So between us, though, we've maxed out at about 1,000 videos, slights, slanders, maligning, half-truths, lies, and bold-faced, in fact, possible criminal elements. So Warren has 602, and I'm sure I'm going to get reprimanded for that because I underestimated the power of the Warren hunt. Scott Del Fuego, good evening, everyone. I enjoyed sharing some time with you, watching a real man and a true gift to those of us with open minds and ample curiosity. Michael's live streams are pure enjoyment. So I know it's Scott Del Fuego's time to go to sleep. I also wish to do something else. LaRue, still on my head. Thank you for stopping by, Scott, Andrew, Mr. Willis, Jack Thompson, Princess Anne, and Larry from Expat Prepper, and anyone else that I've missed. Thank you for stopping by. Warren H., of course. And we have to thank Sutherland Police Department. 2 thumbs up, baby. Warren and I have this thing we do. 2 thumbs up. Australian Cybercrimes. 2 thumbs up, baby. Scotland Yard. Yeah, baby. Interpol, thank you for making our videos go viral inside the proper places. And, of course, the potential for these videos to be shared with the Philippine Cybercrimes Unit. Thank you very much. And it's not our intention to change the cybercrimes laws in the Philippines, but Warren believes that by working with these international agencies, there's a possibility that the Philippine cybercrimes laws might be enhanced. There are other people that are going to the process inside their minds to believe that these will be landmark decisions and possibly alter and or enhance some of the Philippines laws. In other words, certain criminal aspects that may or may not have occurred are prosecutable under certain conditions. Well, if Warren gets his wish, and this might be either in civil court or with Scotland Yard and or Interpol and the Australian Cybercrimes Unit, Sutherland Police Department, and possibly the Philippine Cybercrimes Unit, if Warren gets his wish, there might be a landmark decision to change Philippines internet cyber laws. I won't say any more than that, but that that is the goal of some people involved in this case. Not some people, but several people. Warren will confirm or deny that, but we have already discussed it. So if I said it, probably true. I don't care what it costs. Oh, there he goes. He's affirming. Warren says, I don't care what it costs. I have lawyers here in Australia and in the Philippines working on this at the moment. All right, so that's an update. That's an update from yesterday. Apparently, and I know who and I know how, Warren contacted Warren made contact with a solicitor or a lawyer who made contact with someone that they're going to work with in the Philippines. And this is, if Warren says it, I guarantee it's a fact. So we have just 3.5 more minutes to go, and we're going to end this live stream. Good night, Scott Del Fuego. Good night, buddy, from Warren H. to Scott Del Fuego. Michael, I'll be home around 6 p.m. your time. I'll ring you. Uh-oh, it's buffering. All right, so I will say goodbye now. I will say, Jesus, you have anything to say? Come on over here, Jesus. I'm calling Jesus. I call Jesus. Come on over here, Jesus. What do you want, Michael Fazio? Jesus, how's my water? The water's okay. Holy macaroni. Jesus, you could do that? I could hold the water any angle. I'm Jesus. I'm Jesus. Jesus, who's your favorite person on this live stream? Oh, that's very easy. I love LaRue Seagrass. LaRue Seagrass is my #1 fan in the Philippines, baby. Jesus loves you, LaRue. Always remember that. Stay true to your love of Jesus and or your convictions in your religion, because Jesus just confirmed that of all the people on my live stream, he loves you more. Loves you more. Thank you for being you, LaRue. God bless and good night. Everyone, I'm being Permy from Michael Fazio, LaRue Seagrass, and all the rest in the Philippines, baby. Good night, Warren Hunt, friend. Have a blessed light. She is such a love of my understanding of religion. She's just too kind to everybody. Oh, Warren, Jesus, what do you... Read it, it's important. Thank you, Jesus. Warren says, and for the record, I'm not out to wreck anyone's happy life, but it's out of my hands now. And I will add to that, Warren begged you, as did other people, both friend and foe, to stop the nonsense, and you refuse to listen. Even recently, we have videos of you adamantly going against the wishes, wills, wants, and desires of people that you call close to you, and you refused to stop. So what Warren just said is he's not doing anything to you. You did it to yourself. I'll say, what do you think, Jesus? Amen. Amen. Amen to that. Salamat. So, Jesus, we're going to say goodbye. Good night, host Fazio, Michael Fazio, LaRue Amping, and Kanai host. Kanune. Sounds like a Hawaiian thing. LaRue Seagrass, Amping Permy, most religious person on my show. Thank you for stopping by. Amping Permy. Good night, Mr. Fazio. From Warren H. Salama. Tell the boys I said good night. And Jesus loves them all. Loves you all. Love. Love is in the air. I got to talk about my Boy Scout days. Next live stream. I'm being Permy. Everybody for 3.5 hours are up. LaRue Seagrass. Jesus loves you, LaRue. We love you. We don't look forward to you coming to heaven, but you have a place in the Holy of the Holies when that time comes, LaRue. Thank you for being a God-fearing person. Humping Permy. We love you, LaRue. Bye-bye for now. See you soon.